Hello, good morning, everyone. I am Minal, your host from Saudi Arabia. Hope you are fine. I know this is a very stress movement is going on here surrounding the world, and many negative energies are nowadays surrounding us. In this condition, it is better to have a, we need to do something new to divert our mind. For that purpose, we are here today with another informative session for you. Today in this webinar, not only our participants join from the Jhargram, our base camp, but also the participants join from different parts of India and also outside of India, including Philippines, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Cambodia, Oman, and many other places. And on behalf of Jhargram Raj College, Physics Alumni Association, and Department of Physics, Jhargram Raj College, I welcome you all to our webinar. In this webinar series today, we are going to organize our second webinar, that is webinar 2.0. This webinar is dedicated not only for the student but also for the teachers. Teachers can learn, I believe, many things from today's webinar. However, before we start the event, as usual, I have some disclaimers that first of all, we are not professional. We are just a student, teacher, researchers. So in this case, we may have something difficulties during the streaming today. You may see some unprofessionalism. For that, please excuse us. And also, finally, there may be some internet issue that is not in our hand. With this, I want to first express to you some of my opening remarks that as you know that we are Jhargram Alumni Association, and this event we are organizing jointly with Department of Physics Jhargram Raj College. And this is the whole event actually, our base camp is Jhargram Raj College. But not only us, many other departments of our college, they are also organizing many useful events. I had opportunity to attend one of such event yesterday that organized by the Zoology department. I want to encourage you all to watch the recording of that webinar. You can find in the Jhargram Raj College YouTube channel. Why I'm saying these things? Because when I start the program, initially I told you that there is many negative things surrounding us. How to overcome that negative things, how the negative things create depression in us. What will be the strategy to get that knowledge? It will be a very useful webinar that presented by the speaker yesterday, that in the webinar that organized by Jhargram Raj College. And today's webinar, if I say that this webinar is very important for not only for India but any country, because you know that for any country the skilled worker, what is the importance of skilled worker? If I say to you, I hope most of you know that. If you don't know, and if you are thinking that why I am saying this thing in beginning of this webinar, then I must want to encourage you to attend the full webinar today. You will get the answer. If you don't know, or if you want to guess, I want to encourage you to write in the comment section in our YouTube live chat box. And at the end of the webinar, you will get your answer. If not, I will explain to you why the skilled worker information that I'm giving you that is relevant to this webinar today. Before we start our technical session, there should be some formalities. First of all, I want to request the officer in charge of Jhargram Raj College, Dr. Devnarayan Roy, for his opening remarks. Dr. Roy, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Respected audience, I, on behalf of all the stakeholders of Jhargram Raj College, warm welcome to speakers and all delegates in this interactive session of the webinar, and extend our heartfelt gratitude for giving us invaluable time for their busy schedule. The pandemic has caused intense disruption and anxiety about the future amongst almost every section of the people across the globe. This situation caused by the pandemic is also responsible for causing pronounced mental health concerns, mental illness, or mental health issues, including suicidal thoughts and feelings, in various subgroups of the population throughout the world. Now, under such situation, I am very glad to inform all concerned that the Jhargram Department of Physics as well as Jhargram Physics Alumni Association, they jointly organize such a good seminar, not only for our students, but all stakeholders and all peoples who are attending these seminars throughout the world. Before starting this seminar, I have just introduced our college. The Jhargram is a heavenly destination of human beings and storehouse of different types of natural animals, thals, mohua, segun, piasal, etc. Natural and Mindiya Subarnarekha, Kangshabati, Dulung rivers. Jhargram Raj College is situated at the heart of the town of the district headquarters, and the college is set in a campus of 57.76 acres of land amid the serenity. Now, Jhargram Raj College is under DBT Stars College scheme. Actually, our four departments are included in this scheme. One of the prestigious department, that is the Department of Physics, is also included under DBT Stars College scheme. Recently, we are being honored by Educational Excellence in the last week by G24 Ghanta for our outstanding performance, for our teachers as well as our students, our NSS teams, and all well wishers of the Jhargram Raj College. The college was founded on the 1st July in 1949, Jhargram as Agriculture College. Jhargram Raj College grew into a hallowed center of higher learning, offering to the undergraduate students a whole array of subjects from three disciplines of arts, science, and commerce. Initially affiliated to University of Calcutta, the college came under affiliation to Vidyasagar University in the year 1985. The diversity of scientific opportunities that now exist at Jhargram Raj College has grown out of a long and distinguished tradition of physics teaching and research. Jhargram Raj College graduates, along with many other successful persons who spent their formative years here, have gone on to make extraordinary contribution to science and researches, teachers, and intellectual leaders all over the country as well as on international platforms. The formation of the Jhargram Raj College Physics Alumni Association was an incidence of the explosion of the singularity like Big Bang due to the immense impetus of education, reform, and enlightenment for the society of remote Aranya Sundari Jhargram at 3:45 p.m. on 18th December 2015 at Jhargram Raj College Seminar Hall, when a massive number of alumni, the officer in charge of Jhargram Raj College present, and former HUD of Physics Department along with other dignitaries. The aim of the association shall be the enhancement of educational, social, and cultural development through lectures, symposia, convention, workshop, literature, cultural programs, different kinds of community services and awareness camp, different types of exchange programs for the alumni and the students of Department of Physics, Jhargram Raj College, and others. And it is one of the great day for us. Today we are going to organize an exciting and resourceful webinar on innovative teaching learning strategy for the modern pedagogy. for the benefit of the teachers and students of all over the country with the help of the faculties of Center for Educational Technology and National Digital Library of India, NDLI, IIT Kharagpur, West Bengal, as the resource personnel, namely Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik, Assistant Professor, CET IIT Kharagpur, and Dr. Anirban Mukherjee, Project Officer, NDLI, IIT Kharagpur. I think that all of you will be enriched in various ways. I am very thankful to Jhargram Raj College Physics Alumni Association and also our respected colleagues, head of the Department of Physics, our Secretary Teachers Council, and other senior and junior members and faculties of our department, our non-teaching staffs, for organizing jointly such a valuable program based on update demands. I request to Program Coordinator Dr. Minal Kanti Hota to proceed ahead the next session of the program. And finally, I once again wishes a gala success of the program. And again, I express my heartfelt gratitude to all concerned, those who are participating in this program. Thank you to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rai, for your opening and encouraging remark. Now is the time for the convener of this webinar series. I want to request Dr. Sandipan Malik to welcome our guest and particularly the speakers.
Thank you, Mrinal. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so a very good afternoon to all of you. I'm delighted to inform you that Jhargram Raj College Physics Alumni Association and Department of Physics, Jhargram Raj College are jointly organizing a series of webinars on different technical as well as different non-technical topics. Today, 29th August 2020, we are going to organize the second webinar entitled Innovative Teaching Learning Strategies for Modern Pedagogy, where highly experienced resource persons from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, are going to show you how experimenting new methodologies and strategies can improve student engagement, motivation, and attainment. And at the end, it is a win-win environment for both students and teachers. The first talk entitled Argument-Driven Inquiry Pedagogy and the third talk entitled Concept Mapping with CMAP will be lectured by Dr. Anirban Mukherjee, Principal Project Officer, National Digital Library of India, IIT Kharagpur. The first talk will be held from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. and his third talk will be held from 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. The second talk entitled Digital Platform for Future Learning will be lectured by Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik, Assistant Professor, Center of Education Technology, IIT Kharagpur. The talk will be held from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. At the end of the program, there will be closing remark by President of JRCPAA. We apologize as due to lack of time, only few pre-selected registered participants are allowed to ask their questions to the respective speakers after the completion of their talk. However, other participants are also free to post their queries in the chat box of the YouTube live event or can post in the message box of official website of JRCPAA. Please do not forget to mention your name and mail ID when you are posting your questions. We will try our best to answer those queries later by communicating with you. E-participation certificates will be provided to those candidates who will take part in the survey during the webinar. Please find the link of the survey from the description section of or in the chat box. I heartily welcome all the respected speakers of this event, and I would like to express my sincere thanks to all of them for giving us their precious time. I welcome all the participants of this program. I would like to thank Principal of Jhargram Raj College, HOD of the Department of Physics, our present and ex-faculty members of Jhargram Raj College, committee members of JRCPAA, advisory committee members, secretary, president, and all other executive committee members of JRCPAA for their kind support throughout to make this program success. At least it is our sincere request to you to subscribe our official JRCPAA YouTube channel to get the notification regarding the upcoming events. Please stay tuned at the and enjoy the program up to the end. Uh, I request Dr. Mrinal to take on the program into the next level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Monlik. Now is the time to start our technical session. Our speakers, respected speakers, they already joined in our virtual stage. Before I ask the speaker to present his talk today, I want to talk to the viewer once again. I want to ask you again about to think why I told you in the beginning that what is the relation between today's seminar and the development of the skill workers. Please think and try to guess and put your comment in our live chat box. And also, as our convener mentioned to you, that please subscribe our YouTube channel and like the video and share it, because we are going to organize many more scientific webinars in coming days. Now, without wasting much time, I want to request our first speaker, Dr. Anirban Mukherjee. He is the Principal Project Officer in the National Digital Library of India, IIT Kharagpur. He will be delivering a talk on the topic of argument-driven inquiry pedagogy. I believe that it will be a very useful session for teachers and students, particularly for Indian teachers who work in the elementary school and primary level schools, because in other countries, the teachers on that level, they know the topic very well. But I know that in India, this topic is too much new. But in future, it will be very useful. So anyway, I want to request Dr. Anirban Mukherjee to take charge of the stage and please deliver your talk. Dr. Mukherjee, please.
Thank you, Dr. Hota. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hota.
A little noise is in your audio, but I think it's okay. It will be fine. Please go on.
Actually, room is quite it is not noisy, but I don't know how it's coming. Maybe some transmissional problem there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some network issue. Okay, please go on.
So, good afternoon to all of you. And please interrupt me if anytime you feel that I am not much audible or anything is going on. So today we're going to discuss on next generation pedagogy. Hello.
Yes, please go on.
Hello.
Please go on.
Okay, actually, I am not. I think my signal is fluctuating, so that's why. So we're gonna discuss on next generation pedagogy, that is argument-driven inquiry. So before starting, I shall discuss. Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. Please go on.
Okay. So, before starting, I will discuss some history regarding of this pedagogy. Actually, this pedagogy is not much new to other countries like US or UK or Taiwan. So those countries, those are more advanced in educational sectors. So they have been using this pedagogy from probably last few years ago. But in India, this kind of pedagogy is very much new. Actually, this is inquiry-based learning pedagogy, and in US mostly this is promoted by NSTA, as you know, the NSTA, National Science Research Association, those who are mostly look after the secondary school educational systems and all other things. So they are promoting and using this pedagogy in US schools. we are mostly habituated with the chalk and talk method mostly. And in case of science lines, in school classrooms also. And the people from India will agree to that also. And this is the actual fact. And according to the report of NUEPA, uh, only 32 to 33% of Indian schools, secondary schools and higher secondary schools, has the facility of well-constructed laboratory. So, as you can feel that most of the school has to manage the things in their theoretical classrooms. So there are lots of impediments of using laboratory-based science classroom and all these things. But uh, we have to manage with that. So we have to find something new that can be used to develop the inquiry-based learning habit for the students as well as for the teachers. So on that context, we started to work with this pedagogy uh, since last 2 years. We are working on it, and we started to develop it according to the Indian context. Because as you know, the if you put the pedagogy as it was as it is used by NSTA, and if you put this in the Indian context, Indian schools, it will not work because the infrastructure, the mindset, the you can say the experience of learners and teachers, and the most important thing, the experience of teachers and learners is the most important thing because the students will know that this experience, the experience thing, very much important in the learning process because it affects how students learn or how a teacher teach. Uh, Devendra Dasgupta was is saying, why is this breaking? Is it? Or that is in her end, problem in her end. I'm not sure. I will ask to the host that is it breaking too much? Why is it breaking too much? Mr. Hota?
Yes, fine. I believe that you have issue in the internet in your end because our voice is too much audible. No problem at all. But
Yeah,
anyway, we cannot handle we cannot deal with this because the internet is. So that
yeah.
I had the disclaimer at the beginning of the program. But anyway, please
Mm.
go on and try to speak little slowly. Then the audience will hear properly.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Please go on.
thank you. So, as I left, that the experience of teachers and learners very much has a very affect very much their learning process. So that's why we cannot put anything foreign directly to Indian system, and we cannot use to run or regular system on the basis of that. So that's why we started to develop it according to the Indian context. And as we are working, we have done a lot of changes to that. And right now, it is quite applicable. I can say that it is very much applicable to the Indian context as it forms right now. So, and we have already applied, we have done lots of pilot run in different schools, and from that have experienced that this pedagogy is working quite well. Uh, so today we're going to discuss on that. So initially we'll start with the structure of the pedagogy and the implementation strategy. Then we'll discuss what is the requirement of that kind of pedagogy in your system. So mostly the discussion will take care of these points. So let me start to share my screen. So is my screen visible to you?
Yeah, I can see only the folder.
Yeah. So I am opening the program, but it's taking a little bit of time.
Yeah, yeah. But you have to share the PowerPoint. When it will open, you have to share again the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I'm sharing. Actually, it's taking a little bit of time. Maybe
No
some
worries.
concern with my system. It may be. Actually, from the very beginning, the Zoom is creating quite problem. I don't know why. It's maybe some issues with the memory of the system. So anyway, let it be start. But I can start and share with my. I can talk to you in between. So initially, let me start with the description and give some time to run the system. Maybe if there is some problem is going with the system's memory or anything. I don't know what is the problem. Generally, it does not happen, but it's happening right now, so it's out of my control. So this argument-driven inquiry pedagogy is a kind of pedagogy, as you know, or as you guess from its name, that is, there is two words, argument and inquiry. So argument and inquiry, these two words are telling what is the main base of this pedagogy. So it's a kind of it's a basic inquiry-based pedagogy, but the argument is a key feature which has been added to it. Actually, as you know, the Socratic learning process, you may know the name, the thing, the Socratic learning process. So it's actually the great Greek philosopher Socrates used during his period. It's a practice. It was a practice that when you are telling something or when you are trying to put your any view, so you have to support it with logical argumentation. That was the base of this system. So that means here inquiry, here students inquiry or inquiry based learning will have to be supported with the logical argumentation. That is the key point of this pedagogy. So let us start, but I don't know why it's taking
I suggest you to use Alt Control Del, and then you can Intux for the PowerPoint. Then it will work. Hello? Can you hear me? Hello, Dr. Anirban? Can you hear me? I'm sorry to the viewers. I just see that Dr. Anirban Mukherjee actually disconnected. He may have problem with the internet in his area, but please bear with us, and I believe he will join soon. And I'm sorry that it is very unfortunate for all of us because he was going to present some useful information in his seminar, but due to this internet issue, he could not present in the way that we were expecting. But let's wait a couple of minutes. I believe that he will join again and he will continue the event. I just spoke to the speaker. He says that he's trying to, he's actually rebooting his computer because he had some hardware issue, and we have nothing to do on that. So I am extremely sorry again to all of you for this technical disturbance, and he will join very soon. And also after this talk, we will have another talk that Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik, a faculty, assistant faculty of IIT Kharagpur, he will delivering his talk on digital platform. How a student or how a teacher can use that digital platform for their study or their teaching, because as you know that in this present pandemic situations when the students cannot go to the school or college or even university, then what will be their resources, how they will learn the things? Is it that it will be wasted of 1 year? But it is not like that, right? uh, Whatever the situation, you have to learn yourself. But to learn, for the learning process, you need a one guidance. Without guidance, you cannot learn anything. And for that case, in the digital age, if you have something available in your mobile, if you go to, if you want, for example, one arts teacher, okay, his background is arts, he completed his degrees in arts or humanities, and get a job, he or she get a job in a elementary school or primary school, and he want to demonstrate any scientific small experiment. How it is possible for him and her to demonstrate something to the students? It is almost impossible job, right? uh, in that case, I believe the importance of the digital platform. And if there is so many digital platform nowadays available, not only in India but from all wide. Only thing you need one Android or iPhone like things, and you need an internet connection. However, the internet connection is the most important thing that that create a problem. Right now, we are facing this issue, and but this is not in our hand, right? Our expected speaker, he is now in a remote place in his village. He he is from IIT Kharagpur, but due to the pandemic situation, he left the campus and he is living with his family in a remote area. From there, he joined with us, and somehow it happened today that his internet connection created this problem. You know that in India it is a rainy season, is a heavy rain, and due to heavy rain, there is a always issue of the internet connection. So we cannot deal with this kind of situation. This is not in our hand. We, as a scientist, I feel that how weak we are in front of these natural calamities. We can make 4G, 5G, does not matter. But if the signal is low, what will do this? And I want to request all the participants to stay with us. I know this is very annoying to you all, but this is nothing, not in our hand. And very soon our second speaker will join, but fortunately he is now living in IIT Kharagpur campus. So I believe that there will be no internet issue, and he can continue the next session. So please stay tuned with us, and let me call one more time to the speaker, and let me check the status. I will coming back.
Hello. I'm really sorry, my internet got disconnected.
Yeah, yeah, understood. Anyway, no problem.
Mm,
Please continue your session.
yeah.
Please,
So
I want to one request you. Please first open your PPT file, then you start sharing the PPT file directly.
yeah.
Please.
So anyway, I am starting with conversation in the beginning. Actually, I don't know what will happen because today something is going wrong. This is not usual. So as we late, this pedagogy started with the first notion that teacher will never put his view or thought forcefully on the student's mind. So this is the first thing you have to take care of. So is it visible? My screen is visible now? Yeah, I have started sharing.
It is coming, but not yet. Yeah, now it came.
Yeah.
Please go on.
Okay. Thank you. So as I told, so it is not to feed and establish scientific facts directly to the students, rather make them curious or uh, encourage their curious nature that they have uh, by generating one probing or guiding question. So what is the probing or guiding question? Actually, the probing or guiding question uh, is a question that have some characteristics. So what will be the characteristics of guiding questions? First, the question should be thought provoking, and the question should be very precise and to the point. The question should have a very direct answer. That means it should not promote any long philosophical discussion. So it should have a direct answer or correct answer, and neither the question nor the answer should be directly written on the textbook of the students. So you have to prepare such a question that the question or the answer should not be there on their textbook, or they may not get it easily from anywhere, either from internet or from their other textbooks. So this is a very important thing, or the very important beginning point of this pedagogy when you are trying to use in your classroom. First, uh, try to put them in a problem. Actually, when your task is to put them in a problem, and then the student make them and then encourage them, make them engage, and the students will then find out their solution by their own. They will find out the answer by their own. To find out the answer, they may design some experiments, or they may search some information from their books or from the internet. So when you are practicing this kind of pedagogy, there is a provision that the students may search anything from their books or from the internet. That means it is an open book session. So let them do what they want to do, and never interrupt them with your views. That means when if you see that you are seeing some students are doing something, they are doing something wrong, like they are searching or their information is wrong, or what they are claiming is wrong according to you. So by that time, don't say that, oh, this is not correct. Actually, the correct answer is that. So don't do like that. Let them do whatever they want to do. This is the very first point. And the whole pedagogy is uh, completely based on this point. That means teacher will never feed any established scientific facts directly or his or her own thoughts directly to the students. So initially, you have to put a question that we call the guiding question. And at the very beginning, I want to share another thing and I mention another point that please don't think that this pedagogy is meant to replace your current teaching learning system. Actually, this is developed to uh, strengthen the current system. Actually, it is a additive. We never say that it will replacement. It is a complete replacement of current system. That is not. Actually, it is a complementation with the system. So this should be clear from the very beginning, because after because at the end of the session, otherwise the teacher will say, "I will practice this pedagogy from the very beginning if they don't have any previous knowledge or anything." So initially, do your conduct your classroom as you do. Teach them what you want to share with them, and then in between practice this pedagogy so that you can judge how the teaching learning system is going on, and as well as with the practice of this pedagogy, the student will develop some very required habit which is very much necessary for the next generation learners. Because suppose if you are teaching in a school and the students from class 5 or 6, uh, these students will uh, complete their study, and then they will try to find some jobs, or they will try to do something by their own, and that will be 10 to 15 years later. So now think, what will be the situation of that time when your students are going to the job market, or when they are ready to serve the society. So you have to think what will be the need of the society by that time. So according to that need, you have to prepare your students from now. Otherwise, your student cannot survive or cannot fulfill the needs of the society by that time. So if you think in a very commercial language, you are the producer of some product, that is your students. So you have to bring some product in the market according to the need of market, or you have to design the product in such a way that those products can fulfill the target or requirement of the market. Otherwise, the product cannot survive in the market. In the very same way, if you are not preparing your student according to the future need, they cannot survive in future. So that's the thing. That's the reason behind that we are searching for some new pedagogy which can fulfill the needs of next generation. So what will be the needs of next generation? That is the crucial question. So now think, the very basic needs will be the next generation society is the creativity or inquisitive mind. Suppose till date there is a need of some such students who can memorize the things very well. Till date, this is a very common practice that we hire some people who can memorize the things very much well, who can calculate very fast. So this is till date we are practicing, or our society is encouraging this kind of skills. But now you think that if you come to the point of memorizing something, then that is done by Google or search engine in a very much quite in an efficient way than you. And if you searching regarding the skills of very fast calculating, or those things, this kind of job that can be done very easily with the use of a calculator or a computer system. So if you are a job provider, then will you hire such kind of people with a salary of monthly 60 or 70,000? Obviously not. You will buy a computer that will cost hardly 20 to 25,000, and it will never ask for your leave for any TAD or anything. So in future, you will try to hire some people those have the skill that a computer cannot do. So that's the and that the thing is creative creativity or inquisitive mind. So your requirement for hiring a people will be the creative people or inquisitive people. So we have to develop such creative or inquisitive mind, and this cannot be done in a moment or in a year. This is required continuous practice of several years. Otherwise, if you think that the students will learn those things during their higher studies in a couple of years, it is not possible. Actually, we have to bring it in practice from very beginning. So to develop such creative minds, we have to focus on some points like from the very beginning, we should bring them in practice of questioning. So they have to be in a continuous practice of questioning. Actually, an inquisitive mind always asks some question. And when they ask some question, they try to find the solution of the question or the answer of the question. In this search, they design some experiments or they search something, they read, they learn, they analyze, and finally they synthesize something new. So this is the process. So we should encourage the questioning skills of the students. But in reality, in our classroom, we discourage it. Whenever a student of your classroom asks many questions in your classroom, it's our general practice that we say the student, oh, please don't ask this question. It is your out of syllabus, or this is not the right time to ask this question. Please write it in your exercise book and ask me later. And all those things we do a general practice in our classrooms. And with that, what happens after few times, after doing it in few times, the student get discouraged and they will stop. They stops to ask questions, and gradually the habit of questioning uh, get destroyed. So for the from the very beginning, we have to practice this questioning skill. So initially, what is your duty? You have to put them in a problem. So when they get in a problem, and the when you are putting them in a problem, when you are engaging them in a problem, that keep one thing in mind, that problem must be related with their experience. That means with their previous knowledges. That means be their bookish knowledge or their daily life experience. So the guiding question should be related to their daily life experience or their previous knowledge. That you should keep in mind when you are generating some guiding questions. So these are the criteria for forming a guiding question, a good guiding question. So if you ask something like that, what will happen? The student will engage automatically, because they will start to think, oh, this is our own problem. Yeah, I saw these things in my life, in my daily life, and always I try to find out the solution, but I never tried it in such a way. So let us try today. So until or unless they are not being engaged with your system, you cannot get or you cannot expect anything good from your practice. So the first thing, you have to engage your students. So what kind of practice we generally do follows or we recommend to follows regarding the putting regarding bringing this guiding question or put it in front of the students? Usually we try to or we use a video or audiovisual medium. Usually, we develop a video with that shares some knowledge. The video kind of a small documentary of 3 to 4 to 5 minutes regarding a topic. It shares lots of knowledges regarding that topic, and gradually the video ends with a question. So in this process, students gradually get engaged within the process, and they try to think, oh, this is a real problem. I find it in my life previously, but I never tried, so let us try. So this audiovisual might be a medium, or if your school don't have that audiovisual system, then you can put this question through a narration or storytelling. That gonna be good practice. That is storytelling. So the teacher should practice, or teacher should develop himself or herself as a good storyteller. That is a very required skill of a teacher. So you start with some stories. Never starts like that. Okay, guys, today I am gonna ask you this problem, and please solve this. Never do that. If you do, they will get discouraged. They will not be interested because they will start to think, oh, this is a daily classroom course, and most of the students are not much interested in daily classroom course that you can find in your regular experience. So start with a story and develop your story in such a way that gradually this story will lead to a writing question. Or you may take some printouts of some photographs related to that story, uh, then exhibit those photographs, and you start telling some stories with that using those photographs, and gradually you end up with good guiding question. So with that, the student will be engaged with the guiding question, and they will try to find out the solution. So that I have that is told here that in search of proper answer, those students will learn by their own in this process. So this is the key point, that please uh, don't teach your student, encourage them to learn. This is the key point. Always keep in mind, please don't try to teach your student. As a teacher, it is our very general notion that we are teacher and we are going to teach something. But please keep in mind, in modern educational system, teachers are called as the facilitator. They are not the teacher. We are not the teacher. We don't have to teach anything, because you cannot teach anybody anything. You can only make them think. And this is not my quote. This is quotation, or this quote is from Socrates. So you cannot teach anyone anything until that people is ready to learn. So you just have to involve the student. What you can do, you can facilitate, you can create an environment that can encourage your student to learn. So this is the best practice we can follow. So now, what is scientific argument? You have already asked a guiding question. I have already discussed what is guiding question. Now, let us go to step by step. So first, we have to understand what is scientific argument. Actually, scientific argument is nothing but logically validate or refute any idea without hampering the values of scientific community. That means when you are trying to say something, when you are trying to express your findings to the world, you have to logically validate it. Or if you are trying to refute some claim of others, that you also have to do by logical argumentation. So this is the way how scientific community acts. And during this process, you have to keep in mind some good practices, like when you are criticizing or refuting some claims of some others, do it logically. Criticize the idea, not that people or not that person. But in common, we see that in some right seminars also, when a newcomers come with some new idea, some senior person initially start with criticizing the idea, but after a few times, the criticism, they start to criticize that person behind the idea. But this is not a good practice. And this is also a next generation, this is also a very much required next generation skill, because uh, you have to prepare your students to work them in team. That means you have to bring teamwork practice. So when you are working in a team, you have to be careful about these points, because it's a very bad practice of criticizing the idea, of criticizing the people behind the idea. So, and this practice cannot be developed in few, that I have already told, in a few years or a few months. So you have to bring it in a practice from very beginning. So this is the scientific argumentation, we say. And why this pedagogy is important, because as you have guessed already with my talk, that the pedagogy, in this pedagogy, we are going to work, or we are going to practice experimental or experiential learning, which is very much important. So with this kind of pedagogy, students will learn how things work and why things happen. They will do it by themselves. So they will get the experience, and whatever we learn from the experience, that is going to stay for a long time in our mind. But if you try to memorize something, it will not stay, because it will not create in any meaning in our mind. So it will not stay. But if you are able to connect your ideas or the knowledge that you have gathered from book with your experience, then it will create some meaning and it will stay for long in your mind. So that is going to happen. And with this kind of pedagogy, the student will learn how to read, write, speak, and listen in science. This is a very important sentence, that is how to read, write, speak, and listen in science. Because reading, writing, speaking, and listening in science is quite different than reading, learning, or speaking some other things. Because scientists can see something different from a regular, within a regular thing. A scientist can hear something different from a regular thing. So this should be done with a long practice. This can be bring into a long practice. With that, our students will learn how to actually read, write, speak, or listen in science. And the another most important thing, this pedagogy can be integrated in any curriculum. Though initially we were working with the science part, but we have already tested it, and it is quite helpful, or it will be quite helpful to teaching, for the teaching learning of other subjects also, and that we have tried also. So it can be implemented in any curriculum, that may be science or any other subjects. So what are the steps? How this practice going to happen in your classroom? So initially, in step one, introduce the task or the research question that we have already told, the guiding question, and then split your classroom in small groups. So what will be the size of the groups? The size of the groups will be determined by the teacher according to the present classroom situation. So you have to decide what will be the minimum size of group that you can control or you can generate. So during formation of this group, please do a random sampling. Please don't get biased. Please don't make the groups like from the first benchers or a different group from the last benchers, because if you do that, our aim cannot be reached. because our main aim of this study of this pedagogy is the peer learning. That means the students will learn by themselves. So, as you know, the first benchers, the so-called first benchers, are the students who are very much uh, interested in booky things. That means they are very much bookies. They have a theoretical knowledge, very good base of theoretical knowledge, and we appreciate. It is our general practice that we appreciate this kind of knowledge, and we tell them that they are first benchers or good learners. But we used to neglect the last benchers. That means those students are not interested in your bookish things. Rather, they are interested in playing. They are interested in climbing trees. They are interested in swimming in ponds. So they actually they are not much interested in your regular classroom activities. But as they are very much connected to the nature, it is quite evident that these students have much more practical ideas of regarding the nature. And as you know, nature is the greatest laboratory. So whatever the science you are teaching or they are learning, everything is taken from the nature. And this nature is the greatest laboratory, and those the last so-called last benchers are very much intermingled with that nature. So they have a great natural experiences that those are not present in those so-called first benchers. So we have to create something or create an environment where these first benchers or the bookish people can learn the natural experience from those people, and these people who are much more well acquainted with the nature, they can learn something from, or they can learn the theoretical knowledges from those bookish students. So in this way, gradually, that will create a homogeneous kind of classroom situation. But it will need a practice. It will take some time, but it will be. That is very much definite, and that we can say with our experience. So, with our experience, in the sense we have already tried many pilot runs and all these things that we can share. If you are interested, you can call me, you can mail me. We can share our experience, or if you have any queries regarding it in future, you can ask us. So, we will be very glad to collaborate with you. So now, after creating such groups, uh, now engage them in the work. That means this group will work on the problem to find out the solution. So in third step, what will they do? They will start discussing with the problem. They will try to find out the solution. So in this case, they may if they feel they can organize any experiment. In that case, the experiment is also that experiment should be developed, or the protocol of the experiment, the way out of the experiment should be developed by them. And again, be cautious that never try to interfere with your knowledge in their work. That means never try to tell them, no, don't do this. Actually, I think this can be done in a better way. This will be the way, or do this experiment like that. You just watch. You just keep your eyes on them. That during the experiment, if they are doing something wrong, or they are doing something risky or not. Otherwise, let them do whatever they want to do. Or they may search for information from the books or from the internet, and then they will start to argument within them or between them. They will start to argument among them, and with that argument, tell them that if you are if you are finding you are if you think that you are trying to develop some claim that means the answer of this guiding question, to reach the claim, please try to write those points that are coming in your mind, so that means the evidence that we call evidence. Evidence is the points which actually builds the base for the claim. Actually, evidence at the points, on the basis of those points, you are reaching a claim. So whenever it is a very general practice the scientific community does, whenever we are trying to search some solution, what we will do, what we used to do, we used to form some hypothesis or try to develop some logical space or logical, we try to search some logical reason behind the problem, and we put it serially and then try to analyze those points, and with the gradual analysis we reach certain claim or some certain answer. So the student will follow the same thing. That means initially they will try to reach the claim, and during this process they will uh, gather some, or they will develop some logical points upon which on the basis of those points they will claim, or the proper they will claim the correct answer. So your task is to monitor each group, visit each group during this process, ask them just when you reach a group, just try to follow what they are doing, what actually they are intended to do, and then and also follow that every students are interacting with each other or not. And in most of the cases, initially you will find some students those are shy, those are reluctant to interact with others, and there may be lots of reasons. There maybe they are shy, or maybe they are suffering with some inferiority complex or anything. So initially you have to keep an eye that everyone is are involved in the process or not, everyone is interacting with each other or not. If you find someone is not interacting with each other in regular practice, what I do, I initially ask that particular boy or girl who is not taking part in the discussion. I ask him or her personally. So tell me what is your point, what are you thinking, and with a very casual talk, the boy or the girl starts sharing his or her thought with me, and then what I used to do after getting his point, I place it within the group, and I tell the other member of the group, see, she is telling that he thinks in this way, or his claim or her claim is this way, because these are the points behind his claim as he thought, or as he thought. And with this, the other students they try to either accept or refute or validate that point. And with this gradual process, I start to involve this particular boy or girl who is not being involved in the group, and gradually they get intermingled. In this way, this is the major task the teacher have to perform in this process. That means you have to facilitate this system and visit each group, put an eye on them. Uh, and if you find that there is a very common practice, or it's a very common nature of the students, because they very easily get diverged from the point when they initially started with some problem, and then they gradually get diverged. In that case, you never tell them that this is not the correct way. I think this is the correct way. Actually, what you have to do, you just ask some question to them, like, "Are you doing? What are you doing?" They will tell that, "Sir or ma'am, I am doing these things, or we are doing these things." Then, if you find that they are doing something wrong or they are diverging, then just put some questions like, "Do you think that this will work?" Or think, or tell some theoretical aspects what you have already taught in a class, and then tell them that what do you think with this knowledge, will it work in this way or anything. So like that, you try to ask some question which can put them in track, put them in back in track. So they will get back in track. Those questions can could be used to get them back in the track. But still, if you find that they are not doing the correct process, or they are not reaching the correct claim, still after your effort they are not getting the point, let them do what they are doing. There is nothing wrong in doing wrong. If they do something wrong and then they learn from that thing, that if because as we know, our learning gets better with the if I do something wrong and then we learn from that experience, it will be a good, more much better learning. So let them do. There is nothing wrong with doing wrong. So after that, and with this argumentation process, the students will develop some logical arguments that will that they use to reach the proper answer of the question or the claim. And after that, in this time, they will develop a argumentation board. So what is the argumentation board? Argumentation board, nothing but a canvassing medium. Like if let me so this will be the structure of argumentation board. That means they will create a board by using some papers or whiteboard, whatever the canvassing medium they have. If your school you are not you cannot provide art paper, let them do in the floor or wherever they can. There is a scope of canvassing something. Let them do there. So this will be the structure of the board. That means they will put the guiding question at the top. Then they will write their claim. That means the answer of the guiding question, what they have discussed, and finally they reached to that answer. So they will write it here, and then in the left side they will write the evidences. So what are the evidences? They will in left side they will write the evidences, and right side they will write the justification. So here is the point: what is evidence and what is justification? Actually, this is not only for your students. Actually, it is very much necessary in our regular science practice also. If you are asked something, if you are asked some questions, or you are asked, you are engaged in a problem and you are trying to find a solution of the problem, or you are trying to reach an answer of a question, so then you should start thinking logically by gathering the evidences and justification. So what are the evidences that I have already told? Evidences are the points on the basis of which you are reaching your answer or your claim. And what are the justifications? Justifications are the theoretical knowledges that forms the base of that evidences. Suppose someone is trying to find the answer related to the first law of motion of Newton. So in that case, the student may produce some evidences like I was riding a bus and suddenly number two. Actually, they will put, and not only them, we must have to bring it in a practice, our regular practice also. That when we are trying to reach some claim, we have to put our evidences point wise. We have to arrange them point by point, and then we have to analyze those points, and after that on the basis of those points we can reach a claim. So initially they may put a point like I was riding a bus and the bus suddenly breaks, push it breaks. And number two, they may write that with the sudden break I fell down on my face. So these are the evidences which uh, and these evidences are actually based on what? Actually, these evidences are based on the first law of Newton, first law of motions of Newton. That is the theoretical knowledge. So in this process, what we are doing, what we are trying to do, we are trying to connect the bookish theoretical knowledge with their real life problems or the problems they are facing right now, and then with the connections of this theoretical knowledge and their daily life experience, they are trying to find a solution of a new kind of problem. So this is the actual way that we should practice our teaching learning process. Otherwise, the theoretical knowledge will be memorized and it will get vanished from our mind very easily. But if we know what we are learning, it has a regular practice in our life. What we are learning, we can use it to simplify our life, to reach the solution of any problem. Then that learning will be permanent in our mind. So that is the thing we are trying to do here. So justification are the basics or the theoretical knowledges, or your knowledges, justification simply your knowledges or theoretical knowledges. And on the basis of this justification, you are trying to gather some evidences, which evidences are connected to the problem that you are facing, and on the basis of those evidences, you are analyzing the problem, and finally you are reaching a claim. So this is the system. So they will make such a board in groups. That means each group will make such one board, that we call argumentation board. And after that, in next step, what will we do? In next step, that means till now the group was uh, discussing or argumenting within them. That means this was a intra-group argumentation. Now we will go for the inter-group argumentation. That means after completion of their argumentation board, they will canvass it, they will exhibit, and now the team will be splitted in presenter and the visitor. That means if you have a 5 members in a group, then split them like that. The 2 people of the group will act as presenter onwards, and other 3 people will act as a visitor onwards. So now you have a single argumentation board for each group. They are canvassing it. Now the visitors will visit. Visitor of a group will visit all every and other groups, and that will be done by the each group. That means visitors from each group will visit each and every other group, and they will argument with the presenter that they will see the others argumentation board, and they will ask they will ask questions to the presenter if they have any doubt, or they may uh, and there is a provision that they may collect some good points, what they are thinking that these points of other groups are good. They can they can use it in their argumentation boards. So they can collect those points, or if they are thinking something is wrong with other group's points, they can argument on that. And the presenter have to argue with those visitors, and they have to logically validate their points, or whenever someone is trying to refute some other claims or points, they have to do it with logical argumentation. So with this, they will develop a practice of presentation of the idea. So it is, and everyone of us can feel that if we are asked to present our ideas in front of large audiences and establish our views, we often hesitate, or we often cannot do it in a very well fashion because we don't have the practice. Actually, this is not our problem. Actually, this is a problem with our learning system that we have acquainted with, or we have passed through. So this kind of practice have not is not developed in our during those periods. So we are not very much what I can say. We are not very much efficient in group discussion. We are not very much efficient in presentation of our ideas. So these are the very crucial points that the next generation learner should have, because they have to work with a team. Should have the capacity to work with a team. They should have the capacity to lead a team. They should have the capacity to establish their views in front of others. They should have the ability to argument logically. They should have the ability to convince others with their ideas. So these are the very necessary skills for the next generation learner. And now in present days also we are facing such crisis of don't having these skills within us. So lots of people in India are facing the problems with for getting job in the corporate markets, or as they are not very much well acquainted with they are not very much creative, they are not very much inquisitive, they cannot even they are not being able to establish themselves also as a very good entrepreneur. And so these are the problems that we have started facing already. And after a few years, after 10 or 15 years, it will be the problem will reach a quite high. So these are the problem and basic practice that we can start. So during this process, each and every group will visit each others, and they will collect, they will share their knowledge, they will collect the knowledge from others, and at last they will have a provision that if they want, they can change their board, they can make some corrections of the ideas of their own, because with this practice they will it will bring a practice of accepting others idea. This is a very critical thing, because we often cannot accept others ideas with a broad mind, and we should have the practice of doing so. So this will bring this practice. So with this practice, they will learn the things of doing like that. And then next phase, there will be a reflective discussion session, what we call reflective discussion. And that means this session will reflect their ideas on them. That means here the teacher will act as the mirror, where the students will get a reflection of their what they have done. So that means in this session, that means in the reflective discussion session, what will the teacher do? The teacher will dissolve all the groups, and this will be a session. This is going to be a session with all the students with the teacher. That means in this session, teacher will discuss on the ideas that they have generated. That means here the teacher will discuss what should be the correct answer, what is wrong with that. But again, keep it mind, in this session also, you should not tell like that some of some of the groups has reached this claim, but according to me, this claim is not right. If you do something like that, then everything will go in a pain. So that is the thing. Again, you should not do. So what the teacher will do? The teacher will start to ask some question. So during answering this question, the student will gradually realize what is right and what is wrong. So you should have planned some question like that when they will try to answer that question, they will realize what is right or what is wrong. So it will start an interaction between teacher and the whole classroom in a step-by-step manner. That means teacher will ask the question in a step-by-step manner, and the student will answer those questions, they will interact with the teachers, and gradually they will realize if they were wrong. And if if some group is right or correct, they will realize also that this was correct, and other will realize why that was correct. So it's a self-realization process that the teacher should bring to the students. So until they will not realize by themselves what is right or what is wrong, you should carry out the session. And till the end of session, teacher will never tell or impose his or her idea on the students. So it will be another session where the teacher will interact with the whole classroom. That means it will not be done in a group. That means it will be done with the whole classroom. Teacher will discuss the boards that they have made, how those boards can be made in a more efficient way, how those boards can be, how the evidences could be exhibit in a better way. So that will be the points that can be discussed in this reflective discussion session. So at the end of this session, the students will realize what is right and what is wrong by their own, and they will get a very clear idea about the topic and the topics related with this problem. So generally, the guiding question that we do is very much which actually address very much lots of interrelated processes. So actually, we derive a guiding question that addresses different interrelated problems. So with a single guiding question or with the practice of a single session, a single guiding question, student can get a wholesome idea of different interconnected things. So this is the practice that we expect in this pedagogy, and the final step will be the report writing. In this step, the student will do it individually. This is not a group task. So to student will go do it in an individual. They will write an individual investigation report. So the investigation report should be limited in one and a half page, not more than that. So in this report, they will write the guiding question. Let me give you an example of this kind of board. So they will write the guiding question, their claim, what are the steps they have followed, or if they have used any experiments, what are the processes they have used, interfere. So this is the structure, recommended structure of a report. That means guiding question, the materials they have used, the investigation method they have used. If they have done any experiment, they will write the investigation method. Or if they have done some logical argumentation, they will write in their own words. That means I thought in this way, but my friend tell me such points, and we have argumented with this will be a story like writing. They will write in their own words the arguments that they have formed during the process, and finally the inference or their claim. And at the very bottom, we have kept space for comment. In this section, the students can write if they have any special question or if anything comes in their mind after completion of the session, they can put it here. So the student can, so the teacher can address those problems later on. So we have kept a space for that. So this is a recommended structure. It can be used or modified according to your needs, but these are the basic requirements that we want to put in a report. So, and with this report or these reports can be used by other teachers also in a very efficient way. Suppose actually these are the things that you can plan, you teachers can plan in your classrooms, that how can you do this practice in a collaborative way. That means the different teachers of different subjects can do it in a very collaborative manner, or how we can use these things for teaching other subjects, like you may use this kind of reports for teaching the grammar of or the language classes. So it will be very convenient that when the students will get their own writing as an example for the reading or teaching learning of the grammar, rather than using some other passage or anything. So it can be used in a very efficient way, and this is a matter of your planning and your implementation strategies. So most of the things are depend on the teachers and their interest and their that means if they want to do it, they can do it in efficiently, but they have to plan. And as I know, the questions will come in such a way that the very first question may come that this is a very time-taking process. How will we manage it in our 40 minutes classrooms or 30 minutes classroom? So in that case, I can share some other ideas like suppose I'm not telling you that do it in a very regular way. Just practice a single module in a month. So as in our experience, it will take 150 to 180 minutes. A session will take, or a single module will take to complete in 150 to 180 minutes with a regular practice. So in that case, you can break the whole process in 4 or 5 classes for 5 periods. Assign a single period in a week, either that may be in Friday or Saturday. Do it in a fragmented way, and in a month, you can complete one module, practice of one module. In this way, you can practice 6 to 8 modules in a year. So initially, when you start getting the benefits of this pedagogy, obviously you and your administration will support you to bring it in regular practice. In that case, you will get your administration also will help you to encourage the students and engage them in with more classes. Or you may use it as your project because you have a provision for the project in your secondary classrooms. So and most of the teachers face a problem that the selection of process for suppose 50 to 60 students, so they need to identify 50 to 60 different problems for the project. So using this kind of pedagogy, using this one problem, you can break them apart in groups and do the project in groups, and they can write the report in individually. So it can be bring in practice in the form of a project, and there are lots of other ways that during our pilot run or our previous experiences with teachers and the conversation with the teachers and administrators have already went through. They have proposed lots of other ideas that they can implement. We have good conversation with some headmasters also from the school, so they have also proposed some ideas that how they can use these things, how they can manage the things. So it is totally up to you, up to your intention and up to you. So that's the whole thing. That's the overall idea. So that was the thing that you want to share. Now you can ask you have any question or if you have any doubt.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anirban, for your nice talk. It's a very informative session. Even though we had some initial disturbance due to the internet issue, as I mentioned to everybody that it is not in our hand. Well, we are running behind time, so we cannot take much question right now. But I want to go to Devulina Dasgupta. Uh, she can ask you one question. Devulina madam, can you please unmute your mic?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you are audible. Please,
Thank
please introduce yourself, in which school you are working, and then you can ask the question directly to the speaker.
Okay. Thank you. This is Devolima Rajgupta. I am HM of Gidney Elokashi High School. It is an higher secondary school. Everybody knows, whoever are present here. Maybe there are some people who do not know. It is situated on the border of West Bengal and Jharkhand. So actually the session was quite interesting, and the method Mr. Anirban was talking about was really very interesting, because I feel it is going to be very effective. And since I am actively involved in theatrical performances and theatrical workshops, I am quite uh, habituated with these kinds of uh, activity-based learning process. I would say this is an activity-based learning process, and this argument-driven inquiry learning pedagogy is definitely going to be very effective. I just want to have one question, that if you if it permits, if the time permits,
Yeah, sure. Please go on.
uh, yeah, yeah, if the time permits, would you please uh, give an example how to put it effective in a literature class like Bengali or English? Suppose I'm teaching
Excuse me,
a
actually, I
poem.
am getting
Yes.
your voice. Yeah, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr.
Hello.
Onivan, please go on.
Hello.
Yes, I can understand what he's saying. That means Ms. Dasgupta is telling that how we can use it in when you are teaching English or Bengali poems or something like that. Actually, ma'am, we are working on the science subjects, and we have the examples with us all are related to science subjects, but we have tried to do it in some other subjects like English or Bengali. So in that case, you have the expertise as you are a teacher of English or Bengali. If you are a teacher, you will have the expertise of the subject. So in that case, you can develop a guiding question in a more better way than us. So if you are able to develop a good guiding question, then the process will run in its own way. So in experience that I got in NIT Durgapur, there was a session with the professors and teachers, and where I was presenting this pedagogy to them. And there were some people those who were from the English, those who were teaching English in colleges. So they tried, they gave a try, and they succeed. So as I remember, they developed a question like that. They took one drama, and from that drama, I think exactly I cannot remember the exact name right now. So from that, they developed a very good guiding question, and the whole team work on that, and they go develop a very good argumentation board also. So we have those things with us, but right now I don't have that board with me in my house. Actually, those are all reposited in our offices, and as it is closed, so I cannot show you right now. But we have, and we have tried it in different B.Ed colleges. We have also tried with different other subjects like teaching, English, Bengali, philosophy, education, and all of the subjects. And that was a quite good experience that I can say.
Okay, Dr. Onivan, thank you so much for your nice talk. And we have many other guests, but due to the short of the time, we cannot take all the questions. But I must want to request our guest to be with us, because Dr. Onivan will have another talk. That is the third talk. During the end of the third talk, if you have any question, you can ask to him. So with this, I want to also request Dr. Oniban to stay with us. Now I want to move to our second speaker. He is waiting with us. As you learned from the first talk that for the teaching process, you need some innovative things. You need to introduce some innovative ideas that can create some extra interest on your student. But during the interruption section time, when Dr. Oniban's internet was unstable, that time I mentioned that if a teacher, arts background teacher, want to teach something scientific way to their student, how they can learn. So for that purpose, we have some digital platforms. There are plenty of resources. On that resources, resources is very useful for everybody. So our next speaker will talk on about that resources. He is Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik. He is the assistant professor in the Center for the Educational Technology, IIT Kharagpur. So without wasting much time, I want to request Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik to start your session. Please, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me for this webinar. I thank the organizer, the Jharkhand Raj College Physics Alumni Association, and of course, the Department of Physics, Jharkhand Raj College, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. So the topic that I'll be dealing with today is the digital learning platforms for future platforms for future learning. Uh, so we were doing well with our traditional setup in our classrooms until this this great pandemic happened in our generation. So it's a pandemic of our generation, we can say, and that changed the entire scenario in a click of a within a month or so, right? So in that scenario, we felt the need for this digital learning more so ever than earlier, right? So I think it is a good time to talk about what are the kind of good digital platform or digital resources that we can leverage to make our teaching learning process, or to continue our teaching learning process, though not in a uh, way we wanted to have, but nevertheless it can be an option given that we are stuck in a situation like this. So what I'm going to do today, so I'm going to take you through different initiatives that are that happen worldwide. But specifically, I will like to focus on the initiatives that have spawned from India. I understand that there are participants from different other institutes, uh, I guess they will also be benefited by the wealth of resources that India is creating for India as well as for the global population. Right. So let me share my screen first. Okay. So these are the few things that I'll be talking about. First, I'll talk about open educational resources. I guess it is one of the topics that is very much pertinent to this situation, as we want to have the resources that are made available freely, so that any student from any corner can get access to these resources in online as well as offline manner. The second thing that is there for quite some time, which is massive open online courses, which again has got its own flavor and own benefits given this situation. And direct to home is another initiative There are many countries who have this kind of initiative, but I'll specifically talk about the D2H initiative in India specifically. This is a very good platform where the students who are not in a good bandwidth region, they will be able to access quality educational materials through television, which is really a thing to consider while we are talking about including all the students, depending irrespective of their demography, their connectivity, etc. Finally, we need to have a library which connects all these resources together to provide a unified view to the learner so that the learner can get the resources from a single platform and they do not need to forage through different a number of platforms, right? So to start with, let me talk about the OES and the and their connection with Creative Commons, right? So now, whenever you are trying to use open educational resources, and this is what I'm pointing out to the teachers who are really motivated to encash the benefits of these OES for their students, they should be a little bit careful while they are taking the resources out of internet and presenting them to the students. Of course, quality-wise, they should check how good is the resource and whether the resource has got alignment with the student, right? Yes, I know teachers will be doing a great job because that is their domain of work. But something that I like to point out why we are sharing these resources to the students, right? Or using these resources while the teacher is creating his or her own resource or learning material. Now, while we are taking the resources from the internet, we need to consider that these resources they have been published by the creator with some rights, right? Now, this rights has got a legal angle. Now, what does do this rights say? These rights tell what are the kind of activities the users can do with the resource that has been created by the creator, right? Now, the basic action that the user can do, the user can copy, publish, display, or communicate to the others without any hindrance, right? So that is a right that has been assigned to the user by the creator, of course, right? Secondly, while you are trying to share the resource with others, you may have to tell that well, this resource has been adopted from a particular person or particular source or a particular publisher. So you need to attribute the original work. And the third thing that the user can do, depending on whether the creator has uh, provided rights to that, is whether the user can use this work for commercial purpose, right? Answer can be yes or no, depending on what the creator has mentioned. The fourth thing that has to be considered is that whether the teacher or the resource creator who is using another resource is entitled to modify or adapt the original work, right? It may so happen that the creator can say, no, you cannot really adapt it or modify it. You can share it as it is, right? And the fifth point is, or the fifth kind of right that can be assigned to the particular resource is that you can choose a license type while you are adapting or you are doing an adaptation in your work. So, for example, you are creating a learning material and you have taken a particular resource from another person. there are multiple things you can do. You can say that, well, I have created my resource. That resource may come under certain license, uh, and that whether you can assign a new license to it, that depends on whether the user or the creator has provided you the right. Right. Now, based on all these, Creative Commons, they have formalized uh, the notion of these rights, and they have tried to name certain licenses. For example, you can see this C cross symbol. That means can be put in public domain. So it is in public domain. So what the user can do, user can copy and publish. User can use it for commercial purpose. User can modify or adapt it or change the license. But the user does not need to. The user does not need to attribute the creator. Right. Now the second level is CC BY. So that means it is in public domain, but on top of that, you make sure that you have really attributed the original creator, right? And the third level is CC by SA. SA means shared alike. So uh, you can copy it. You have to attribute the original author. You can use it for commercial purpose. You can modify or adapt, but you cannot change the license. You have to share it uh, in the way the original creator has shared, right? So likewise, there are many flavors of these licenses. So the point is, while the teacher is creating a resource, a new resource out of this existing open educational resources, they have to be careful whether they are permitted to do certain actions. So I can give you a very specific example. Let's say you are creating a video for your students and you have planned to publish that video on YouTube, right? Now, by doing so, you have used an image from the internet without looking the license or the rights on the image. So you've just taken that image because that suits to your purpose, and you have just used that image in your video. Now, while you upload that video on the YouTube, maybe YouTube can block that video because you may end up with using a copyrighted image, right? And you know what will happen, your students will not be getting access to a good quality material which you have created because of a single image. So we need to be very careful while we are using resources from the internet. Now one may ask, why so if you take this specific example, while we are taking an image from Google, how do we know what are the rights that are assigned to it? So there are tools to do this. So maybe I can give you a demonstration. Uh, so let me share my browser. I can directly demonstrate the thing. Right. Well, let's say I want to search for photosynthesis. So I go to images. Now, there are many images you can see. Now you cannot really take any image. So what you can do to check what are the rights that are assigned to the images, to click on tools. Now, under tools, you can see usage rights. So if you click on usage rights, you can see different options, not filtered by license. So all the images are having mixed license setup, right? So you can have copyrighted as well as free images here as well. The second is level for reuse with modification. So that means you can reuse the image that is coming under this category as well as you can modify it. Now, the third one is level for reuse. So that means you can reuse, but maybe you may not be able to modify it, right? And the fourth thing is level for non-commercial reuse with modification, right? So the images that will be coming under it, you can use this for non-commercial purpose, and of course you can modify it. And finally, label for non-commercial reuse. So which is I'll say uh, not is a so here you don't need to, you cannot modify, you just can reuse, right? So what you can do, let's say I'm using this label for reuse with modification. You can see the set of images changed, right? So the earlier we had more number of images, but here the number of images has been reduced because in the earlier case, you did not have any restriction imposed on it, right? So this is one way you can really find out whether you are allowed to use an image from the internet or not. And let's say you want to use a YouTube video. So there in the YouTube video under it many times it is written what is the license it is covered under. So the point is you need to be careful while you are using these resources. Let me share back my slides. Okay, so far so good. Now, let me list down some of very useful open educational resources in the school domain. I will not go to the individual sites, and this is really a list for you. You can browse it when you go back to your place after this webinar, because I think we are restricted on time. Wikipedia is a very great source of knowledge, and it is not like only the school students or the teachers. The uh, Students and the teachers from other academic grade levels, they really use this resource very frequently, very widely. OER Commons is a very nice website where they have tried to integrate all the open educational resources around the world in a single place. So that is the first thing they have done. And on top of that, they have tried to align uh, individual resources with the learning outcomes of this particular of the selected resources, right? And these learning outcomes are becoming to be very important while we are talking about digital learning. Now, in digital learning scenario, you are sharing a particular resource, right? So in a classroom, what you can say that today we are going to do this, right? And at the end of the day, we'll learn this, right? But while you are using a learning material which is available digitally, it may so happen that these outcomes and learning outcomes are not really explicitly mentioned. So this OER Commons, what it does, it tags individual resources with specific learning outcomes, and these learning outcomes they have been taken from standards like Common Core State Standard and Next Generation Science Standards. So these standards are widely used in US, UK, and some other countries, specifically Next Generation Science Standard. I think in the Indian setting, we should also move towards the standard-based outcome, learning outcome specification. And that will give the students and the users of the resource a very good view of what the students or the users are going to learn out of this learning material. Multimedia educational resource for learning and online teaching, in short, MARLOT, they host multiple kinds of learning materials, starting from simulation, animation, questions, projects, and it is a very, very nice source for different kinds of teaching learning materials. CK12, on top of having good quality resources, they have a very nicely structured. So they have structured the repository by aligning them to topics under different subjects. And the the structure of this topic, the interconnection between these topics have been represented nicely using concept map. So they have a very visual way to navigate the repository. So I'll suggest these website for every teacher and student, as it has got a different way to visualize the learning materials. Khan Academy, I guess you are all aware of, and it is very popular among the students and the teachers, specifically because of the style they portray their learning material. So it is a kind of traditional chalk and talk that they are following. And on top of that, they have unit based or module based quiz questions that are very interesting and engaging for the students. Now, in many cases, as we do not have laboratory facility available with us at this point of time, and in general, for the lower grade levels, we do not have the laboratory facility uh, mm, in any scenario. Forget about COVID or non-COVID situation. Now, this can be addressed by using the simulations or the animations that can uh, act as a surrogate of this physical laboratory. Like at least the students can interact with different models or different physics models and learn the working principle of certain models or experiments or some tools, right? This faith is a very good source of number of um, physics simulations, and I guess they have included some biology or I think other domain simulations, but they are primarily physics simulation repository, and they are made available in multiple languages as well, not only English. They have certain simulations translated in Bengali or different other languages in the world. Project Oscar is a project by IIT Bombay. So they are kind of offering a virtual laboratory setup where you can design your experiment, record your data, attend a quiz that is assigned with a particular project, and you can do many things there. And finally, YouTube educational channels. So there are plenty of YouTube educational channels. The teachers are making good use of it in this situation. I know personally. But again, a word of caution is you need to check the quality of the video before sharing it to the students. In the first place, in the second place, you need to check the licenses that are attributed to these resources. In higher education, let us see what are the kind of open educational resources that are available. Internet Archive is a very big place where you can find authentic books. Like I could find very interesting books or very classical books of almost any domain, right? Be it physics, biology, chemistry, humanities, it, at almost in all domain you can find books there, and very classical, traditional, also new books. And on top of that, not only books, they have also video materials, audio lectures, etc., etc. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, they have a repository called MIT Open Courseware, in short MIT OCW. So they have courses covering multiple disciplines, again, engineering, science, humanities, and of course, needless to say that they are being taught by the top teachers in the world, right? So you know what quality they would be. Now, coming to the primary focus of my talk is initiative by the government of India, specifically by Ministry of Education, uh, mm, and they support development of educational technology or learning platforms through a scheme called National Mission on Education through ICT. In short, NNEICT. Let us see what are the kind of very useful platforms that have been developed under this uh, mm, mission under the aegis of Ministry of Education. This first platform that I like to talk about is SIAM. If we expand SIAM, it will read like this: Study waves of archive learning for young aspiring minds. So this SIAM is a portal where you can find multiple courses, again covering almost all the disciplines you can think of, right? And these courses, they are free to access. Now, these courses runs in a regular basis, and one can register for this course, enroll for this course free of cost. But if someone wants to take receive a certification, for that the student has to go to a process, right? For that, they have to pay a nominal fees, and finally, they have to appear for a test, which is done in a proctored way, right? And there are various test centers they can appear in and appear for the test for a particular subject. And if they uh, achieve up to a certain quality, they will get a certificate, right? Why this platform is a game changer is because of many facets it has. So you can think that many colleges in India uh, they might not having the proper infrastructure to host all the courses for their students. Maybe for the lack of teachers, they do not have a particular teacher for a given subject. So in that case, what they can do, they can opt for this course online, and certain amount of credit from their university, they will be allowed if you take a course and get a certification, that will be mapped to the credit point or a particular grade point for a particular university. And this really decided by the university in concern, right? So there are many other interesting features of this. I'll request you to explore this platform. NPTEL is again is it's called the National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning. So initially it started with to be the repository of the courses in engineering science, but gradually it is hosting not only engineering and science, it is hosting also the humanities and arts and humanities subjects. Right? And this NPTEL and SIAM, they collaborate very neatly, and you can find almost all the NPTEL courses in the SIAM platform. Now, we felt the necessity of having the virtual lab in this particular lockdown situation where we do not have the access to the physical labs. But irrespective of whether we have the access to the physical lab or not, the demand for virtual labs are there for quite some time because, again, all the institutes may not have the proper infrastructure, right, to host all the labs. So in that case, it will be very much beneficial to the students or the teachers if they have access to labs virtually. And for that, we have got two platforms developed in India. One is the Virtual Labs project, vlab.co.in, and another project that has been coordinated by the Amrita University which is called Virtual Amrita Laboratories Universalizing Education or Value Added Amrita. They have nicely organized different laboratories by providing simulation, the methods, the procedures, the materials, the instructions to record data, finally quizzes. So they have structured nicely these virtual labs. Faculties, the D2H channels, there are 32 channels that are dedicated specifically to disseminate educational contents. And this has been distributed in different levels, of course. You can see the link below. It is having the archive of all the lectures that have been hosted in the TV in different time periods. And it will give you an archive, and that archive will take you to the appropriate YouTube link. But again, these 32 channels, they continuously deliver different lectures by eminent faculty members around India to the students through the TV channels. So in the school level, there are four channels. One is dedicated to biology, channel 19, channel 20 dedicated to chemistry, channel 21 dedicated to mathematics, and channel 22 dedicated to physics. And there is a there is a set of dedicated channel for National Institute of Open Schooling, and channel 25 is for DL8, channel 27 is for secondary school education, channel 28 is for higher secondary school education, and channel 30 is for Gyanamrit. So you can visit this channel, you can see that all the times you can see that some faculty member is talking about a particular topic in a subject. And of course, NCRTs has a dedicated channel, which is channel 31. And the focus of this channel is school and teacher education. Uh, Fortunately, we are working on a project which is called Teaching Learning Center, that is hosted from IIT Kharagpur, which is called tlc.iitkjp.ac.in. So there we have tried to explore different pedagogic principles like say role play, drama, then you have animations, project-based learning, uh, experiment-based learning. So we have created samples of different kinds of pedagogy aligned contents, and they can be used as examples while the teacher is creating a particular learning material. So I will not go to this website. Maybe I'll go to this website later. Let me talk about the other project which is hosted in IIT Kharagpur, is coordinated by IIT Kharagpur, is the National Digital Library of India. And now you can see that there are multiple resources. So you have got virtual lab, you have got the TV channels, you have got the massive open online courses, and you have got the videos that are coming from different parts of the world. Now think of a student who has got a query in mind. So, for example, he wants to solve certain problems in physics. Now, what the student needs to do, he needs to take any chapter, say heat and thermodynamics. That student has to go to the particular website where he or she can find the books. Then, after he or she can find the books, uh, he or she needs to go to another place to see whether there are certain interesting simulations or video lectures, and he or she needs to go to a place where he or she can appear for a test. Now you can see that as a student, I need to go from one website to another website, and sometimes the complexity of finding materials on the web might deter the student to explore further, right? And there, the role of the National Digital Library of India comes to be important. So the role of the National Digital Library of India, the objective of the National Digital Library of India, NDLI, is to collate or integrate different kinds of learning materials for different levels of learners at a single place so that they can have a unified view, the users or the students, the teachers, the lifelong learners, they can have a unified view of a wide spectrum of learning materials, right? So at this point of time, and this project is being supported by the Ministry of Education, and it has started back in 2015, and it was formally launched in 2018 by Sri Prakash Javadekar, and is rapidly growing by including a number of learning materials from India as well as around the world in a very rapid pace. So as of now, it is hosting around 5 crores of content. Actually, we last week we crossed 5 crore contents. Out of these 5 crore contents, around 65% of them are freely accessible by anybody around the world, right? As we are restricted in time, I do not take much time in describing the objective and the vision. Maybe I can go directly to the portal to show you how you can access the learning materials in different way in National Digital Library of India. So give me a second so that I can share my browser. Well, so let me first talk about the TLC portal. So you can see that Digital Learning Center project. So under this, you have got a browse facility. You have OER contents. We have, along with our own in-house contents, we have also integrated a set of OER contents that are useful for the students. But let us get to the TLC contents. You can see that we have sorted the contents based on pedagogy, for example, lecture, demonstration, project-based learning, storytelling, case studies, experiential learning. So you can just go to storytelling. You can see that you have a topic on boomerang, right? And actually, this boomerang is a kind of artifact to describe Bernoulli's theorem. It has been nicely done there. You can explore. And there's a nice animated story which is explaining rest and motion. So again, I'll not be playing here. You can explore it with your time. Now, coming to National Digital Library of India, as you can see that it is written like one library, all of India. So it is kind of unifying the digital resources in India, right? Now, the landing page, what you can see, so there are many ways you can access the library. So one way is just simply put your search query, right? So let's say I search for heat and thermodynamics. So you can see you can there are multiple types of resources that are available here in this search. Now, what do you want to do? You can you say that uh, I'm really interested in the resources that are aligned to school vertical. So, for example, 9 and 10. Now you see that there are different contents that are aligned to 9th and 12th grade level students. Now you can click on any such material. So if you click on a link, it will get to a page which is called the content page. In the content page, you can see that the contents are nicely organized. For example, in the thermodynamics and heat engine, you have got thermodynamics and heat engine, which is a topic under it. Now you can, from this, you can go to fluids. Now if you click on fluid, you see the fluid to be a subtopic under it, right? And you can see the relevant content that is displayed here, right? So you can search and filter the search results based on your educational need. Now you can go to again go back to the home page. You can browse the repository by multiple ways. For example, you can browse the repository by subject, right? Now there are three-level subject, so you can browse the resources in three level hierarchy of subjects. So let's say you want to go for say natural sciences and mathematics. Under natural sciences or mathematics, you want to go to say physics, and under physics, you want to go to say magnetism. You can see there are many contents that are relevant to the subject domain, but they are mixed in the educational level. So you can think of having the contents that are aligned to say 11th and 12th level, right? You can see that you have something called JE main question paper, April 2016. Let us see what is there. So you can see that here we have got the uh, uh, question paper, and under this you have got the question. I want to have know the solution or the answer keys. So you just need to click on the next uh, uh, line under it. So what you can see the question, the answer key, primary solution, all the reference reading material, and of course similar problems. Now you can see that we started with just having a query, and we ended up in a question paper, which is the question paper of JEE Main. And under this question paper, you have got multiple question, which is question 16. And under this question 16, you can access the primary solution, other reference reading material, and similar problems so that you can practice more, right? And this particular thing, which is the answers to this JEE main question, has been developed in house. These solutions have been developed in house by the NDLI team, which is proving to be a very useful resource for the students who are aspiring to be appear for JEE. And we have got a huge number of access to this JEE main question and answers. Now going back to this landing page, so you can do these activities from any page but I'm going to the landing page over and over again so that you can remember the landing page. Landing page. Now this browse can be done through multiple ways. For example, you can browse by source. So for example, if I do browse by source, uh, maybe I can go to Satish Ray Society, and under Satish Ray Society, you can see that there are these are all the movie scripts written by Satish Ray, the handwritten movie scripts. Those are available here, and you can look for any other, like say you want to go to West Bengal Board of Secondary Education. So you can see you have the question paper of history, question paper of Bengali. You can select you want to say if you want to look for books, so you just click on books. So you get the books here like আমাদের পৃথিবী, আমাদের ঐতিহ্য ও অতীত, সাহিত্য মেলা, প্রফেসর শঙ্কুর ডায়েরি. So you can see that depending on the need of the learner, you can get access to the learning material by different ways, right? And not only different ways, also in different languages. So currently, NDLI supports search in three languages: Hindi, Bengali, and English. And there are interfaces available, I think, as of now, 10 languages total. So we are trying to include other languages in search as well as the interface, but that takes some time to do include a language in the system, and we are gradually moving towards those. The third feature, which is proving to be very useful in the time of pandemic, is this collections. So you can see the school, CPSC, examination preparatory, engineering, science, humanities. So these are called collections, and these are hand curated collections. So there are some subject matter experts who are working in National Digital Library of India. So they have searched NDLI extensively and collated useful materials for particular domains. Right. So, for example, if I go to CBSE examination preparatory, so you can see that we have got the resources for class 10 and class 12, right? Now we can get access to these resources by source, by content type, by subject. If we go to by subject, you can see you have got contents for different subjects. If we go to say English, so you can see that we can have audio books, book, presentation, question paper, many things, right? Similarly, we have a school vertical. Under school vertical, you can see that we have handpicked the video lectures, we have handpicked the JE preparation materials, we have handpicked the simulations, self assignments, and others. So these are the things. These are called collections, and these collections have got very specific purpose, and they are targeted for a particular population of the users, right? And they are as they're handpicked, they will be serving the need, the educational need of the students for that particular uh, domain, right? So, for example, science, humanities, and others. Right? So, I think more or less I have covered all the points that I wanted to talk to. I reserve few minutes to listen to your suggestions, answer to your questions if the moderator allows to do so. Thank you very much. Again, I thank the Jhargram Raj College Physics Alumni Association for inviting me to this seminar, and I'm looking forward to the questions from the participants. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhaumik, for your very nice talk. And I believe that during this pandemic situation, this is a must needed seminar because not only for the students, but also for the teacher community. They can learn something new, they can plan something new for their students. Now, the floor is open for the question. I don't want to ask any individually anyone, but I want to request all of you to raise your hand using the raise hand option in the Zoom. Then I can go directly to you. And one more thing I want to ask Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik that I came to know that you have some other meeting after this session. So
Yeah.
you can mention to us anytime if you reach the time. Okay.
Yeah. So I have got a couple of minutes.
Okay.
I have put a message to them that I'll be late for a few minutes.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you
But
so much.
I wanted to interact with the participants. That's it.
Sure. So I think let me ask Dr. Minmay Hota if you can hear me. Can you please unmute your mic? And if you have any question, you can ask to Dr. Plavan Kumar Bhomik directly. Yes, can you please unmute your mic?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah.
you. Please go on.
Uh, Professor Bhomik, we are very much thankful for your talk. It is quite helpful for all the educational head like in West Bengal and any other part of the world. And I am asking one question that how we can involve our student to search educational content effectively um, because they are not acquainted with this platform and from where they can start.
Okay. Thank you. I think a good starting point can be National Digital Library of India because it is made for primarily Indian population. and the resources that are relevant to different educational boards that are already there in the library, so they can get access to the materials that are tied to their curriculum in the first place, as well as the resources that are not there in their curriculum, but at the same time would be aligned to their interest and interesting to them. Right? So I think NDLI would be a very good starting point because it is meant to be a repository of the educational materials. Now one can argue that well, so there are search engines, there are several search engines. One can go to there and try to find the resources. Now the search engines, they are doing a very uh, useful job or effective job for the common people, but they are general purpose search engines. They are not really uh, aligned to, or they do not align themselves only to the educational materials. They keep in their repository all sorts of materials. And that's why you can see that they do not have the filter options that are particularly relevant to the educational domain or academic domain, right?
Well, thank you. May I ask any other participant to raise your hand, please? Then we can go to you and you can ask your question. Okay, Mr. Sandeep Ghosh, can you please unmute your mic? Yes, you are unmuted. You can ask the question directly now.
Mr. Bhaumik,
Yeah.
thank you for your presentation. I have already greatly experienced through your presentation, which is fluent, lucid, and no doubt beneficial to all of us. Now, my question is, the digital platform of learning is certainly going to be a pivotal platform in the horizon of teaching learning process. Now, how effective will it be in the domain of assessment procedure?
Well, yeah. So this is a real point of concern, and thank you for asking this question. Uh, as of now, our assessment has been simply like you have a set of topics that you discuss in the class, and you ask questions about those topics. Mostly, they involve the recall of the students, like how well the student can remember, right? And in certain times, how well they solve certain problems, right? Now, one thing, so there are different digital platforms that are coming up to uh, solve the issue of different challenges in online testing, and I'm sure that they will do a good job. So the platforms will be there. As a matter of fact, there are many platforms. For example, in Moodle, you can take the tests, right? It has got options like you can say you have 50 students, right? And you don't want that the students will receive the same question paper. So what you can do, you can create a question bank of say 100 questions and shuffle the questions randomly and create a set of five question papers, and assign them randomly to the students. So you can do many things to make sure that the students they adopt some fair means, right? Uh, point that I like to raise is something different. So the online platforms will be there and they will be helping you out in conducting the online tests. As a matter of fact, these GATE and other examinations they're happening online. But I think I should ask a question to the inter teaching community. Do we need to rethink our way of assessment? So what we are really assessing, we are assessing the how the students can remember something. Can we go beyond that? Can we set a question which will engage them to think, right? So in various ways we do that. For example, we throw some open questions. So the answer to this question can be many. Open means that it is not like it has not been solved. But open means the question might have multiple answers, and all the answers will might be true, right? But in this process, you need to know that how the students are following the process of problem solving, how the students are arguing or standing by their hypothesis or solution, whether they are able to explain the solution properly, and whether they can collaborate with the other students to find a solution to the problem. I think there comes the relevance of this argument-driven inquiry. So the process of inquiry is coming up to be very important in the coming century. I think Anirban has talked about the benefits of adopting a inquiry-based pedagogy in your classroom. I think that is true also for assessment. My suggestion would be do not only think for assessing recall level of the student, also think to assess his other cognitive capabilities like say synthesizing, analyzing, interpreting, and arguing.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Homik. I have one quick question for you. As we all understand that digital platform is very much important for present age situation and also for the future. But a country like India, where we have many places where forget about 4G, 3G, we don't have even 2G. What about those students who cannot purchase an Android mobile phone, who do not have access to a good television because they don't have that much infrastructure in their villages, they don't have that much resources? So what could be the solution for them? Because at this time they cannot go to the school or colleges. Do you have any comment on this?
Well, I do not have a very good answer to this because So the point is, the government they are taking up certain policies which will try to address this kind of difficulties that the students are facing. But I will come back to the resources like direct to home channels. They are available through television, and nowadays every home at least has a television. I'd not say every home, almost all the homes they have a television, and from through television the quality learning materials they can reach to the students.
Okay, thank you. And one more thing I want to point out here, that at the beginning of your talk, you mentioned about the copyright issue. I think this is much needed information for all the teacher who are nowadays preparing their YouTube videos or the presentation for their student. They must need to be very careful before collecting their sources from some other some internet platform or some from any other people, because if they do this thing without proper permission, then YouTube can block their channel if they do repeatedly do this thing 3 times. So please be careful, all the teachers. So now I finally want to ask our participants, if they have any question, then please raise your hand. I think nobody have any other questions. So in that case, I want to thank you again, Dr. Bhomik, for your nice presentation. And I know you have the next meeting after this. So thank you, sir, again. And I hope in future, again, we will get you in a similar kind of event. Thank you, sir.
Well, we love to. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you for hosting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Unfortunately, I have
now,
to leave.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure, sure, no problem. Thank you. We will contact you later.
Thank you.
Okay. So at this moment, I want to say that in the first talk, you learn about teaching methodology that you must need to include in your teaching plan in coming days. Particularly, this is really important when we have uh, new education policy that proposed by the central government, that is very much related to the teaching methodologies that presented by Dr. Anirban. And in the coming days, it will be there will be more development on this field. And also in the second talk, you learn about different resources different resources, digital resources that you can use for your student. You can plan your teaching, but to plan your teaching, you need to do a systematic way. If you seriously want to improve a life of a student, if you seriously improve the environment of your class, so how to do that? For that things, you may need one tool. That tool can make your life much more easier. So our next talk will be on that particular topic. Uh, the next topic is concept mapping by CMAP. So this will be presented by our respected speaker, Anirban Mukherjee, Dr. Anirban Mukherjee. And I want to ask Dr. Anirban Mukherjee to please unmute your mic and please come to the virtual stage for your next presentation. Dr. Anirban, can you hear me? Hello? Dr. Anirban, can you please unmute your mic? Hello? Dr. Anirban, can you please unmute your mic?
Hello.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Please go on.
Yeah. Actually, today I don't know. I'm struggling with my system. It's the same with me anyway. Right now we are here for the use of another tool that is CMAP. So before starting about the training of CMAP, that means how will you use the CMAP, let us start with the usefulness of the CMAP. Or, what is the usefulness and why we are going to use the CMAP. So let me share my screen. Actually, the tool we are going to talk about, that is CMAP. CMAP is a tool for concept mapping. So let us first know that what is concept mapping. So for that, and at very beginning, I want to express my sorry for the previous innings that I played in very faulty way. That due to the problem with my system. So that's why the session got delayed. So now let us start with the name visualization of learning materials. So are you getting my screen? Uh, Hello.
Yes, it is visible. Please go on.
Okay, thank you. So visualization of learning material. So what is the visualization of learning material? So let us start with the word concept mapping. So what is concept mapping? Before coming to the concept mapping, it is a very relevant question that is visualization is important. So why the visualization is important, and specifically the learning material, why the visualization of learning material is very much important. So see, first we are human being and we are meaning maker in our nature. That means we always try to put the things in order from chaos, and that's why this was the beginning of or that's why the taxonomy was began. Because in case of taxonomy, and the people from the biological backgrounds are very well acquainted with the terms taxonomy, and wherever and anywhere there are scope, we try to make order from the chaos. This is our very basic nature. So that's why, in case of the education, when we are thinking about the goal of education, the primary goal was is we gather lots of information throughout our life and throughout the day, but we cannot put all the information in our mind, in our brain. So initially, what we do, we start to put them in order. Otherwise, the information will create a chaos in our brain, and ultimately, like my system, the brain will hang, and it will not create any meaning of any information. So in a natural process, brain will not retain anything or any information that you gather during the whole day or during your life. So as we are in the field of education, our main motto or goal is to share our knowledge. We gather knowledge and then we try to share our knowledge. That is the basic thing we do in our educational sector. So for sharing our knowledge, we have to remember the things. We have to put them in order as for our own digestion as well as for the sharing. If you share something in a chaotic manner, that will not create any effect, that is not going to create any effect on the person to whom you are sharing. So when you are trying to share something, you have to be well organized and put them in order. And allow community learners to exchange ideas in a common framework. So this is the basic goal of educational system. So doing so, that means the exchange of idea in a common framework and sharing of our knowledge. We always try to put the things in order, and uh, so that's why the visualization is very much important in case everywhere and specifically in case of teaching learning system. So we are going to put some example of visual organizer. That means these are the tools or the process that we are used to for visual organizing our thoughts and our cerebral materials, like some like flow diagrams, mind maps, comparison or contrast matrix, word map, uh, and so on and so forth. So these are some examples, and we use these kinds of tools or process to organize the visual organizers that we call, and we organize visually our content. So for example, suppose in today's market, there are lots of mobile handsets are available. There are lots of handsets that are available from different companies. And now you are in a hurry to buy a mobile for your own use. So what will you do? You will try to buy the best one for that suits your need. So if you try to compare all the features of all the mobile phones, you will find yourself in a mess, and you cannot decide which one is best for you. And to take the decision, at least you will take 2 to 3 months. But if you put the things like a comparison in a comparison matrix or contrast matrix, so what do you do in comparison or contrast matrix? Suppose you put the mobile handset in the columns and in rows the features that they are providing. Now put them in this kind of visual organizer and now think of your needs, what kind of users you are. If your need is regular or multitasking, office tasking, then you need a strong processor, good amount of RAM. So that will be their basic needs. Camera will not matter. So in that case, you will just put a tick on the rows and columns according to your need, and you will definitely end up with good choice within a few hours. So that's the thing, the visual organizer, that's how the visual organizer helps us. So let us see what is concept map and how it is going to help us. So suppose these are the nodes, these elliptical shapes, these are the nodes, and these nodes actually are the information that you gather. Okay, so initially we gather information in a fragmented form, like these nodes. They are not connected with each other. They are a singular. They are in singularity. They are separated, and these are the isolated information. Now, how we start in our brain? We start to connect those information with edges like this. Edges means something that is connecting one information to another, and these edges are marked with the labels. Now, if suppose uh, you know that plant needs water, okay, so plant is a concept that will put in the node, and water is a separate concept that we will put in another node. So plant needs water. Here needs at the level which is joining the water, the concept water with the plant. So that's how the different concepts get connected, and our brain also makes a concept map, and with the use of that concept map, we use to process our learning. So, are you getting some noise from the outside? Actually, some uh, mobs are moving with mic, so maybe you get some noises. So just give me a 30-second pause, otherwise you cannot hear anything. They are miking outside on the road.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. You can stop a while and let them go, then you can start again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the democracy. We cannot do anything about this. Just we have to wait. We have to wait for a couple of
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. So I think they have gone and noise become lower. So this is the way how we build a concept map without knowing what is concept map, or without knowing about any tool that we do naturally in our brain. Actually, we gather information which are a separate concept, and then we try to connect those with some labels. That means the labels are the marker that define the connection or define the relationship between different concepts. And this is the way how concept map is developed. And with like that, a cluster of concept maps get start interacting with each other, and that's how our brain creates a whole image of the information, whole meaningful image from the information that we gather. So right now we are going to develop such visual concept maps that I was talking about was our internal process, that how our brain works. Now we are going to put it in a visual form, so that actually visual form is much more needed, because as you know from the research, it tells that human brain processes 20 times processes the image or graphics 20 times faster than the words or letters. So whenever we put something in well organized visualization, process that got very quickly processed, that get very quickly processed by our brain. So this is the very requirement of the concept map, and this concept map is very much helpful and is a very required tool for the people like us who are involved in the educational sector, and as well as this concept map can be used in our daily life to organize our work, our aims, or our anything, the process that is involved in our life. So uh, here you can see that the two different nodes are getting connected with the edge, and the edge is there is a level on the edge, and the symbol this kind of structure we call propositions. So multiple propositions ultimately get connected and produce a complete concept map. And in a complex concept map, there are multiple concepts that get interconnected with each other. So the basic unit is the proposition. So one proposition is made up of two different nodes or the two different concepts that getting connected by a meaningful word. So let us take a toy example. Here are some words written. Plant has leaves, roots, flowers. Leaves are green and need water. Plant roots finds water. Plant needs sunlight. Sunlight is yellow, so can be flowers. So this is the example. Take 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Then I am putting it to blank. And now if I ask you, please tell what was written there. I'm sure you will miss any other alternative point. But if I show you like this, plant has leaves, leaves are green. Plant has roots, roots finds water. Plant has flowers, plant needs sunlight, sunlight is yellow, and flowers can be yellow. So if I give you another 20 or 30 seconds and then I ask you what was written there, and I'm sure that I have tested there, uh, most of the people will can tell all the propositions that were written in the text. So this is the magic of visual organizer or concept mapping. So this way it helps us to remember the things in a very graphical way. So that's why the concept map is very much needed. Suppose here are the example of a very complex concept map. I'm not going through this right now. So there are different structures that can be used to prepare concept map. Like here it is called that spider map. In the spider map, there are you can suppose you are teaching an interdisciplinary topic. There you can organize the topics under the several subtopics, and you can use different colors for different levels of hierarchy according to the hierarchy of the concepts. So that can be organized in a very in a very beautiful visual organizing system. So there are some examples. These are some examples of structures. Suppose you are teaching something interdisciplinary, you can use different colors assigned for the different topics from the different subjects. Like if you are teaching something, suppose for if you are teaching something like a topic like human eye, which involve biology, physics, chemistry, different things. So in that case, you are organizing different concepts, and then you can put, suppose, red color for physics, green color for biology part, and blue color for chemistry part. So you can get the overall visualization of idea, and as well as you can easily identify the topics that are from different subjects, which topics are from which subjects, and in that case, when you are going to take a class, and before the class, if you have a simple concept map written in a small paper, then what you can do, you can just go through the map and you can identify which point you need to revise, or which point you have to highlight, or if there is something which you are not very much well acquainted, then you can go through the topic and you can make yourself prepare for a very short time for the class. So you will get yourself, you can find, you will get yourself visual organized, you have a clear, then you can get a very clear vision what you are going to teach in the class. And during the class, it is a very common thing that oftenly happen to all of us many times during our class, that after taking the whole class and exiting from the class, I found that, oh, there is a topic, or I forgot to mention that point, which was very much needed. And you find yourself in a mess because oftenly it happens that the point that you forgot to mention is very much important to connect your next class. So as you forget to mention the topic, you cannot take the next class, because otherwise you have to again repeat all the things. So these kind of mistakes often take place in our professional life. So if you have a small token of paper and there is a concept map written on that paper, during your class you can just have a glimpse of the map, and you can understand what the topic you have covered, or if you have anything left behind. So this way it is going to help you a lot from the teacher point of view. And also there are very usefulness of this concept map. Suppose even if you use this concept map as a teaching learning material in your classroom. So after any one topic, you just put a concept map in front of your student and uh, tell them or repeat the whole thing what you have taught through the concept map. It will create a very clear visual idea, or it will create a very clear vision or impression on them, so that they can easily connect the topic. Or suppose after teaching two or three different topics, you prepare a concept map that is connecting the three different topics from different angles, and then you present it to the student. The student will get easily understand how those topics are interrelated, how the connections are being in between. So, in point of view of students, this is also very much helpful. There are lots of way that in which you can create a concept map. But when you are creating a concept map, keep one thing in mind, that which is very much important. In case of concept map, you are connecting to different nodes with the edge, and each edge should bear a label. Without this without this level, the concept map is not complete. And this is how the concept map is different from the flowchart. In flowchart, we usually do not use any levels. So in that case, flowchart is not so complete like concept map, because without level, anything cannot create a very complete meaning. Suppose here is lungs, and arrow is written to the left atrium of the heart. So lungs, if lungs is connected with arrow with the left atrium of the heart, it will not put any significant meaning to the student, and you have to explain why you have connected this lungs to heart. But if you put a level like pulmonary veins, so lungs have pulmonary veins, which is connected to the left atrium of the left atrium bypass valve, which is connected to the heart. So So this way, the level is very much necessary for the building a concept map. Please keep in mind, because without the level, it is not going to be a concept map, rather it will be a flowchart. So as I was telling, so concept map can be used for the lesson planning and preparation. Suppose you can use this concept map. Suppose you have a plan that in next 1 month or next this whole semester I am going to teach these things. So you first prepare a concept map that how you are going to teach the topics, which will come after which one, how you going to correlate those topics. You just create a complete concept map regarding the whole topics that you are going to teach, and mention there what will be the time frame for your teaching. So in this way you can organize your plan, and you can use it as a lesson planning, for lesson planning that I have already told. Because as a teacher, it is very much mandatory for us to prepare lesson plan. But as you know, we most of us we have to take large number of classes in a day. So many often we cannot prepare the lesson plan for each and every classes, a proper methodical lesson plan. So, but we can create a concept map very easily, and we can use the concept map for preparing ourselves and for planning how we are going to teach in the class and what topics we are going to cover in this way. That I have already discussed. And it improves the communication increase the concept integration. As you can guess that it is going to help your students very much to integrate the concept. It will help you to omitting the key messages during your class. It will help to construct the meaning in multiple ways, that I have already made a concept map, and that can easily show how those topics are interrelated, how the system is interacting. Actually, in nature, there is no subject like physics, chemistry, biology, or mathematics. Nature is the laboratory, and we are taking information. Actually, when we are trying to explore the natural phenomena, we are creating several experiments, and from those experiments and experience, we are gathering knowledge and information that we are documenting in science. Actually, science is nothing but the documentation of natural phenomena, how it is working. In science, we are doing nothing, just nothing more than documentation. Actually, we are doing documentation of natural processes or phenomena that are taking place, that are interacting within the nature, and this documentation process that we are doing has the limitations, because as it is done by us, we have a limitation. So we are speaking it in different subjects, but in nature, science does not exist in the form exist in the form of physics, chemistry, and biology. So whenever you are teaching something, keep in mind that our teaching strategies should be interdisciplinary. That is the very crucial thing that we often do not practice in our classroom. And mostly in Indian context, it becomes a habit that we of limiting the subjects in the boundary of physics, chemistry, and others. But if you are a physics teacher, you should be well aware of how the laws of physics is being implemented in the biological system. If you are a biology teacher, you should be having very ideas of how this biological system is being performing or run using the laws of physics and chemistry. And everywhere there is mathematics. But in practice, we do not, usually we don't do so. But for being a good teacher and for to cater the needs of next generation learners, we have to focus on interdisciplinary teaching, inquiry-based learning. So for the sake of interdisciplinary teaching, we have to present our ideas to the students in an interdisciplinary way. We have to give them a complete and clear vision how the topics, how the matters are related to each other, how they are interacting. So, for doing so, the concept map is will be proved to be a very good tool. And now the formative learning or formative assessment, you can use this concept map for the formative assessment also. Like I can give you an example. Suppose it was an incident that happened. Our in lower classes, children come to know that we give manual to the plant, and plant as we give manual for by manualing the plants they grows. Actually, their growth takes place due to manuring. So, if I want to grow a plant, we have to give proper manure. That is a common experience of our child. Suppose they are from if they are from class 2, 3, or 4 in that level, and again they are learning that again they are learning that plant produces food. Okay, so now uh, when we ask few people from lower classes to prepare a concept map addressing this whole process, that means the manuring of land, or that means growing of land or growth of land. Different people, different students take the two different approaches. Actually, they try to show that we are putting manure to the plant, and plant is growing, and plant produce their food. So with utilizing these food, plants actually are being grown. But we found some of the students are carrying a very dangerous misconception. How? Those students understood that as we are manuring the plant, and plant is producing food, and the food is being utilizing for their growth. So that's why they connected the concept in such a way that plants are getting their food from the manure. So they identified the manures as the direct source of the plant food. Actually, in their mind, it was going that plants are using the manure directly as food. As we are eating rice or some other cereals as our food, they are supposed to eat those manures as their food source, and they are producing their food directly from the manure. So this kind of misconception never, it was not possible to address this kind of misconception until or unless we ask them to use this kind to prepare a concept map. Because if you are a teacher, you will think that I have taught them all the concepts, and it is very much easy to understand. I have taught them in a very well fashion. They understood it very well because they have nodded their head uh, violently during my class, as they have understood everything. But you can never notice that this kind of misconception took place in their mind. So this kind of misconception can be identified if you use the concept map for the purpose of formative assessment. Suppose after completion of a chapter, you give them some topic and ask them to prepare a concept map. You will have a clear vision that which students have understood it very well, where the misconception lies, and as well as you can also assess your teaching process. Because if you find any common misconception in most of the students, then this is the indicator that during your teaching you are not you was not able to make them understand that topic or that particular part in a very well fashion. So So in that case, you can identify your teaching lacunas in your teaching. So you can modify your teaching. You can plan for the next. You can identify the common misconception. You can identify the problems of different students. Actually, different students have different kinds of problems, and that can be identified easily if you ask them to create a concept map. So these are the and another point, the visual spatial learners. That means visual learners. There are lots of students in our classes who are the visual learners. That means they process the information they able to process the information in a very good fashion if the information are presented in the form of graphics or visual organisms. Actually, they cannot remember the things that they only by reading or listening. They can remember the things that they can see or organize in a graphical form. And this kind of habit or this kind of students are very common in our classroom, and it is going to help those kind of students in a much stronger way. So these are some uses. Suppose here is actually these are some examples how the concept map can be used to identify the misconception. Actually, I have told these things in a story like session already. I have told it. So here are some concept maps produced, advanced concept maps produced by students. Here are the ways how the misconception was identified during a trial, and what I was telling about the manure or decaying the cow dung or decaying animal, how they misunderstood those things. So here is a option or example how you can use this concept map in your classroom for the assessment. Suppose you create a concept map and put some blanks in between and tell your students to fill up those blanks. When they will try to fill up those blanks, you can easily identify where the misconception lies or which student is struggling with which concept. Here are the some concept map prepared by expert or and by a novice. That means you, with the view of a concept map, you can easily identify whether the student, whether the concept is clear to the students or not. Because if the concept is not clear to the student, then you can find repetition of the concepts in a concept map, repetition of words. You can find the missing edges. You can find the concept missing concepts. You can find the wrongly placed concepts or wrongly connected concepts. So that are the indicators of misconception or students with less understand or less knowledge or the problem or the students who is struggling with the concept. That can be identified. So these are some example. I am just keeping it. Uh, Phases of construction. Here, I would like to give a good example of a complex concept map. Here is a concept map that is dealing with how oxygen and carbon dioxide is being transported within our blood, how the system is processing it, and what is the reaction is going on within the cells or blood. So it's a very vast concept. Actually, it is involving several chapters. You can read several chapters regarding this in a book. So here are concepts of physics, chemistry, biology, and easily it can create a whole book also. we can write a whole book on this topic or at least several chapters on this topic. But a single concept map is covering the whole thing in a very well understandable fashion. If you concentrate your mind on this concept map, you can you don't need any guide to understand it. You can easily understand if you have a basic knowledge of science, and you can remember the whole thing, and it will stay for the whole life in your mind. So this is a very good example of how complex a concept map can be, could be, and also how we can easily integrate several concepts in a concept map. So now, how will we produce this concept map? For the very, if I can tell that for the very beginning, you can easily just use pen and paper. This is the most common part you can do, or this is the most common way you can do. But if you want a dedicated tool for preparing a concept map, then there it is. There are several software that are used to that you can use for building a good concept map. Actually, with the use of these digital tools, you can produce concept map which will be a more good looking than the map written in pen and paper. And as well as you can carry, as it is digitized, you can carry it everywhere, wherever you are going, wherever you are going to teach or learn something, you can carry it with you because you can store it in cloud, you can take it print out, you can print in the form of a poster, you can use in a multifarious way that you cannot do with your handmade pen on paper concept now. So these are the very basic needs where these tools stands for. So initially we can name some tools like inspiration software. Uh, some concept map that I have already shown to you, that is a concept map with some graphics like heart, lungs, skeleton. There are also concept map that I have already shown. It was prepared by the inspiration software. It is a paid software. So we will look for a free software, but efficient, free but very efficient software that can serve our purpose because we cannot afford a paid software always. So for that, there is a best option is CMAP software. This CMAP software was developed by Florida Institute for Human and Machine Cognition. So it's a free tool. Here is the link of the CMAP software, or you can just Google it like CMAP concept mapping software or just CMAP software. It will have the link at very first chance, and there you can you will have the options for downloading the software. There are several versions like 32-bit, 64-bit. You can choose according to your need, according to your system support. You can download and use it. And top of it, this software supports the cloud storage also that you can get without any extra cost. That means that is also free. It is hosting a cloud server also. So if you put your materials on the cloud server, you can access it from the any part of the world. Or if you are working in a collaboratively, working in a team, the members of those teams, if are from the very different part of the world, they can collaborate with the cloud cloud platform. So that is also free. And you can also use the PowerPoint, Word, that Microsoft Word, Post-it notes. But in case of PowerPoint words, these are the word processor. These are not meant to build a concept map. So these are not dedicated for concept map. That's why you will find difficulties to put the concept in notes or in PowerPoint. arranging or putting labels on the edges. So we will surely face lots of difficulties if you are trying to use the PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, Question Notes, and such kinds of software. So it is better to say that and that is if we can say the name is CMAP software, which is completely free. So I can show you the initial interface of the software. I'll try to show you so that you will have a glimpse of the software, and further you can use it. So can you see my okay? Screen
I think you
sharing.
have to
Okay, screen
share
share.
that software.
Yeah, I'm sharing screen again. So here you can now you can see my whole desktop. Is it?
Not yet.
Can you see my whole desktop?
It's not yet. It is showing that it's coming, but let's
Okay,
wait
okay,
couple of
okay.
seconds
Okay, let it come. And so
because it is
just
maybe
inform
due
me
to your
when you
uploading
are.
speed.
Yeah, actually, not only uploading speed, I am struggling with some system issues also
Okay.
today. So
Now,
that's why the processing speed
now
is
I can
getting
see
low.
your desktop, full desktop.
Okay, okay. So here you can follow my cursor, and here you can see the um, thumbnail of CMAP tool. So after installing the CMAP tool, you will get an icon like that, and after double clicking on that icon, a window will open. Though initially, if you are using it for the first time, you will get a separate window that will ask you for registration or give some personal information and creating an account. So you just have to put the information they are asking for and just create your account. As if you create your account with a password, then you can avail the cloud support also. So that's why you just have to put the information and then you will get a login screen. And after logging, you will have a screen like this. As you are seeing, you will have a window like this. And here you are seeing some concept maps within the window. Though if you are using it for first time, you will not have these. Actually, these are the already deposited concept map that I have made. So this window is the actually this is the master folder in your system where the concept maps are going to be stored, or where or this is you can say this is a personal drive for this CMAP tool. Actually, CMAP never uses anything from your system directly, because if you build something with the images that is available or stored within your system, and then you build a concept map with that, and then if you try to open that concept map or in some other system, you may not have the access, or if you are having access, then the size of that file is going to be very high. So to avoid that problem, everything you are trying to use for building a concept map, initially you have to import all the things in this central repository system. And this is the window of that system. So anyway, I will go to that later on. So firstly, when you find this kind of window, just go to file option, and here you will find the new CMAP option. Just click on it, it will open another window like blank window of white color, just like this. It will open a window, separate window when you click on that new CMAP. So this white or blank window is going to be your platform for creating concept map, or this is going to be the whiteboard for creating your new concept map. So as you can see, system is processing quite slow. That's why the visual is coming truncated. Okay, so now you have a complete blank whiteboard. You just have to click a double click on the anywhere on this whiteboard. Just give a double click, and with the double click, this kind of structure will be constructed. So here you can see some question mark. In these question marks, actually these are the nodes. You have created one node, and in this question mark here you can type. Suppose I am going to create a concept. Plant needs water. Okay. So now type plant. So it appears the plant in a concept or the node. Now, if you then click on this node again, you can see a hanger-like structure top of the concept. So just click on that hanger and drag it to somewhere else. So as well as you leave as you drag and drop, it will create another concept or another node. Here I am going to write the water. So we have two concepts or two nodes, that is plant and water. So I am going to write here the water. So plant and water, you have two different concepts. That means two different nodes, plant and water. But we have to construct plant needs water. So here needs will be is going to be the level. So here these question marks are the place for the placing of level. So just click on it, write on it, needs water. So here is your concept, a complete proposition, that is plant needs water. Now the proposition has the edge, but you cannot see any arrowhead. That means in which direction the proposition is flowing, whether the plant needs water or water needs plant. So as the proposition is plant needs water, so there should be an arrowhead from the plant towards the water. So now here on the right side, you can see a style palette. So this style palette, you can use this style palette for formatting all the objects that you have on your board. So here you have three things, like you have fonts, that means different fonts that you are typing, like plants, means, water. These are the fonts. So you can format these fonts and you have objects, like so you have two objects or multiple objects, and you have lines. Lines are the edges that are connecting those objects. So you have three basic components here. One is font, another is object, and the line. So what is and out of these three objects, out of these three components, you can format any one of them, or all the, or you can format separately all the components. Like right now, I am trying to format this line, and I am trying to bring a arrowhead here. So I have to select the line first that I am trying to format. Then I have to go to the style palette, and in the style palette here you can see the line tab in the bottom of the style palette. Here on the mouse, you can see the line tab. So after clicking on that tab, the options will open on the top. So right now I need a arrowhead. So here are the arrowheads, different kinds of arrowhead that you can opt for. So you just click on any of this and you got the arrow and you get the arrowhead here. So this way you can change the shape, color, thickness, style, each and everything of these lines. So that is up to you how you are going. That is up to your aesthetic sense how you are going to format it. You can change the object by clicking on the object tab of the style palette. So after clicking on object, you will have the options that will define the shape, size, colors of the object. So for formatting of object, you can just drag it to change the size, and you can change the color from the style palette. You can change the color of the object, shape of the object, and similarly, you can change the fonts also from the tab present in the style bar. So this formatting of font is very much similar to the Microsoft Word that you use. Here you can have different names, types of font, size, bold, italic, underline, color, each and everything, paragraph and everything. So this way you can create multiple concepts. You can create, as you see here, you can connect multiple nodes. Suppose water is colorless. Now, if I write like, suppose these are the different concepts. One concept is from biology, another from is chemistry. Water is colorless. So water is going to be the label. So water is colorless. So this way you can connect multiple concepts. You can connect different. You can create different concepts from a single. Suppose here plant needs water, and again you have another concept plant needs fertilizer. Suppose. So need is going to be the common level. So if I want to connect another concept from this level, so I just have to click on this level, and with the click, you can again have a hanger on the top of this option. You just drag and drop, and now the need will connect this another concept like fertilizer. So this is how you can create, you can join multiple concepts or multiple nodes from a level. Again, you can create multiple nodes from existing nodes, or you can join the different nodes. So this is very simple, just like this, double click, drag and drop, and you can format all the things. So this is the very basic tools that you can explore easily on your own. Just download it, uh, try it. You can have the help menu on top of it. From this help menu, you can learn each and everything you need to create a concept map, a complex concept map, a compound concept map, everything you can do. Here you can do lots of things, which is not possible to show all the things during this session because it will take lots of time. So you can explore by your own, and after all, you can save the things, save this concept map, save as from this file menu, save as. First, you just save as it as concept map. Then after that, you can export it as image file, PDF file, and all other file format in XML or in web page format. You can also export it so that you can use it or take a printout from anywhere. So this is the tool that is very much easy to use, very much convenient to use, very much user-friendly that you can use to prepare your concept map. And if you try to work with the CMAP tool and find any difficulties, you can contact me anytime. I'll try my best to help you out. And you will also have lots of tutorial online. You can have the help menu, and within the help menu there are everything. There is everything written that you need. So that's it. And thank you all the participants and the organizers for giving me a hope. And now I would like to invite questions, or if you have any. So please, now it's over to you, Dr. Gupta.
Well, thank you, Dr. Anirban, for your talk. And I believe that this information is not only important for students, not only important for teachers, but also equally important for some other people. If anybody want to organize any event, it will be very useful for them to using the CMAP tool to plan their event. And I must want to comment one thing on that. I recently came to know that many coaches, particularly the football coaches, they use the CMAP tool to plan their program schedule, how will arrange the training session for the players. Anyway, so I must want to request all of you, all the viewers, whoever are watching in the YouTube, and whoever the participants with us in the Zoom, you must check this tool. It is freely available from YouTube, from Google. You can go download, you can learn, and it will be very useful for you. Now we have few participants with us. We want to go to them to ask you some question. I can see Mr. Subhasis Mondal. He want to ask you some question. Mr. Subhasis Mondal, can you please?
Namaskar. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, please go on.
Uh, though net issues interrupted a little bit, but I enriched a lot, sir. Both of your discussion is really informative and fruitful. Sir, I am a primary teacher. I want to ask a question, sir.
Sure.
Can this concept map possible to apply in primary education level? If it possible, sir, how do we as a facilitator organize and present in our classroom situation? Please guide us, sir.
So it is very much useful, especially for the students of primary schools, because they are not much mature, and they also love to learn to different learn to grasp it. So it will be very helpful to organizing their ideas in primary school specialty, because if you put the ideas in such graphical form, that will help them to memorize or remember the thing or digest the things very easily. So you can after teaching one topic, you can organize that topic in a form of concept map, write it on your blackboard, and then just revise it at the end of the class. That students, what you have learned today, just have a glimpse. বলে just আপনি পুরো ব্যাপারটাকে সমাপ্ত করতে পারেন. So you can do it and bring it in a regular practice.
Well, I have another question. Yeah, you are saying anything? You can go on.
Yeah, I was suggesting him that you can use it with some photographs also, so that will bring a lot of joy.
Okay, okay, thank you. I have one question that is maybe very common question, because the concept mapping software tool, it is very much similar to the any flowchart. So you can prepare a flowchart in a simple PowerPoint tool. So why you need a special tool? Can you please comment on this?
Yeah, this is a very important question, and I have already mentioned it as a very crucial thing, the differentiation between concept map and flowchart. Actually, flowchart doesn't have any living space. That is the word that we are using in between or connecting as a connection of two different concepts or nodes that I have already told. That means the plant has roots. So in case of flowchart, you are using plant and then you are drawing a arrow and then you are placing root. But in case of concept map, you have to put the has phrase. That is the linking phrase that is creating a meaning. So without that linking phrase, it cannot be a concept map. So for doing that, we are using Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. You will have trouble for connecting such linking words or linked phrase. You will have some problems for generating such concept maps in very easier way. So that is why a dedicated tool for concept map is very much important when we are trying to generate a digital concept.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mukherjee, for your nice talk. Even though we had some internet issues that it is not in our hand, but thank you so much for giving us time. And I believe that our audience, they already learned many things from you. And in future, maybe we can organize an event. In that time, we can that time maybe we can request you to join us physically when the situation become normal. And also maybe it is possible that some of our viewer may contact you separately. So if we receive any request, we can convey those message to you. And with this, thank you once again for your time. Now, since we come to
And
the yes, please, yes, please,
I have just one point to mention.
sure,
So after completion of this session, I will give a link to you for a post test that I have already told you. So I will request every viewer that please take this post test because with that post test or with that survey, it will help us to generate more, better strategies for taking learning system in the future. So that's my
sure,
request
sure,
to you.
sure, sure, no problem, no problem. We can share with our participants. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. Please stay with us. Now I want to move to the closing session of this webinar. So first of all, I want to request Dr. Saurabh Mukhopadhyay, the acting HOD of Physics today, Physics Department of Jhargram Raj College, to express your views. Saurabh,
Hello,
please. Yes,
hello.
yes, you are audible.
Well, it's a pleasure actually. It's a pleasure to be associated with the Alumni Association, uh, Jhargram Raj College Physics Alumni Association, and it's also this particular incident. But before that, I want to say that since the inception or since the formation of this association, they have remained very active. They are very enthusiastic, starting from different academic activities in and outside the college. They also extended their activities as outreach as well as community work. So, on behalf of the Department of Physics, I would like to congratulate them for their constant enthusiastic endeavor. And you know all that now we are in a very special situation as while the COVID-19 pandemic is prevailing all over the world. And also this JRCPAA is not silent, not kept them silent. They have tried their best to extend their help to the students, to the teachers by organizing webinars. This is probably the second attempt there. The first attempt was on the career counseling just after the higher secondary examination result was declared. And this is the second endeavor. And I think this particular endeavor is very useful for the teachers rather than the students because very soon we will see, actually we have seen that there has been a paradigm shift in teaching learning methodologies, teaching learning processes, and also the new education policy has come into the effect. So according to this new education policy, we have to go for we have to encourage digital learning, digital teaching learning process, different digital teaching learning platforms we have to use, and the concept of school, college, and university education is going to be changed. So, in the purview of, or in the light of this new education policy also, today's program is, I think, is very fruitful and give much more information. Of course, we will need much more webinar because when the new education policy is going to be effective all over the India, and every educational institute, especially higher educational institutes, has to adopt them. So this kind of webinar should enrich the speakers to cope up with this policy and how to use their digital platforms to reach to more and more students, not only inside the college but also outside the college, and also the students from different universities, different colleges. They will also know where should they get the materials, where should get them the lectures, and also how teachers will use their digital skills to reach the students. So in brief, I think it's a grand success. So I must congratulate JRC Physics, Physics Alumni Association, and I would request them not to stop here, rather carry on with much more and more events. Thank you so much, JRCPAA. I am always with you, our department always with you, and our college is always with you. So any need, any help, we are always there. Carry on. Best of luck. Thank you so much of all of you.
Well, thank you, Saurabh, for your nice remarks, and please stay with us. Now, I know that we are running behind of the time, so let's go to our beloved principal in charge, Dr. Devnarayan Roy, for his closing remarks. Dr. Roy, please.
Good afternoon to everybody. After completion of this seminar, the single word that is now I am overwhelmed and spellbound. Uh, this is a very, very nice presentation, although some interruption is there due to net problem. And during such COVID pandemic situation, this endeavor, this effort is outstanding for our Jhargram Raj College Physics Alumni Association in collaboration with Department of Physics. I also convey my best wishes and heartfelt gratitude to all speakers, all participants, all organizers, and once again, I, on behalf of all stakeholders of Jhargram Raj College, once again, I extend a heartfelt gratitude for giving us invaluable time from their busy schedule, and we enriched ourselves through their deliberation. We hope in near future we organize such type of seminar or workshop like this. A few days ago, Department of Geology has already organized such seminar, how to use the digital platform, digital library, how to organize the webinar, and we hope as a we are the learner from the Department of Physics to organize such type of seminar. We wish every success of this seminar in near future. Thank you to all. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Dr. Roy, for your nice, encouraging remarks. Uh, So, as you know that we already reached to our end of the session, but before that, I have to share one good information to all of our viewers that Department of Physics Alumni Association, we decided to continue our webinar series. In coming days, we will advertise about our new webinars with some distinguished speakers. Also, Physics Alumni Association involved with the online teaching during this pandemic situation. This is particularly for the school students from class 9 to 12. Uh, Please visit our YouTube channel. You will find a systematic video uploading of the videos, and also please visit our website to get all the previous videos as well as the new videos as well as also the new notifications or new planning that we are thinking. So with this, I want to move to the President of JRCPAA, Mr. Samuel Kumar Bhoi, for his closing remarks to end of this session. Samuel, please, over to you.
Okay. Today, gradually we reached of the end of the program on innovative teaching learning tragedy for modern pedagogy. The honorable speaker delivered their speech on the topics which enriched us all. We also move forward by making it as a path for the future. The honorable, on behalf of the association, I express my heartfelt thanks to the honorable speaker, Dr. Laban Kumar Bhaumik and Dr. Anirban Mukherjee, and also thanks to the all respective teachers who take part in question answer sessions. I would like to thank all the online audience who patiently listen to the program. I would like to thank the respected officer in charge of Jhargram Raj College, acting HOD Physics Department of Jhargram Raj College, all present and ex-professor of Jhargram Raj College, organized team, all alumni of Physics Department, all students and their parents. Please support us in such way to our upcoming events. Thanks again for making these events a success. Now I am requesting our program coordinator, Dr. Minal Kantihota, to have a happy ending of the program.
Well, thank you, Samulda, for your nice remarks. Finally, we end to that point where we have to leave you all from this. Before I end the event, I want to thank you again, all the viewers uh, who are with us till now. In this event, we have about 1000 viewers in the YouTube, and I want to again thank you all for participating from YouTube. We will come back very soon again with another webinar. For the advertisement, we will advertise very soon. For the advertisement, to see the advertisement, you must have to check our website and also YouTube channel on regular basis. So I want to request you all to please subscribe, like and share our YouTube channel to get, and also most important, please hit the bell icon to get automatic